Shall we start, sir?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, sir. A very good afternoon, everyone. On the behalf of Team Just Agriculture and Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society, Punjab, I, Preeti Vats, cordially welcome you all to the 10th Day of Agriculture 5.0, the 15 days international training cum workshop program on the theme Next Level Approach Towards Smart Farming, Innovations and Agripreneurship. This program has been jointly organized by Just Agriculture Magazine, VNM KV Prabhani, Maharashtra, Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society. I am very glad to announce that our co-partners for this program are more than 20. I must congratulate Team Just Agriculture for organizing such insightful training programs at regular intervals and for collaborating with such big universities within a short span of time. I would like to appreciate our co-organizers, which are NAHGP, National Medicinal Plant Board, Government of India, MPUIT Udaipur, Maharana Pratap Horticultural University, Karnal. Before beginning the program, I would like to tell our participants about the organizers of the program. So Just Agriculture is India's largest agri-professional platform with more than 5.5 lakh readers across the world. It offers a platform for researchers, students, scientists, and other agricultural professionals to share about their latest agri-innovations. First issue of the magazine was launched on 5th September 2020, and a number of volume has been already been published. On the other hand, Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society aims at enhancing the livelihood opportunities for more than 1 million farm households in the country. So they both are amongst the largest networks of agriculture and allied sector professionals in the country right now. Now, coming to the session, I would like to thank our chief guests of the session today, organizing course director of this training program, Dr. DPS Padwal, sir, course convener, Dr. Sandeep Ji Shinde from VNM KV Prabhani, course director of the training program, Dr. Mohit Bharadwaj, members of the organizing committee, course coordinators, Dr. Utkarsha Pramod, that is Vice President, Strategy and Partnerships, Just Agriculture Education Group, Dr. Paresh, Vice President, Branding and Marketing, Just Agriculture Education Group, and most importantly, the attendees of the session. So before delaying the session now, I would like to warmly welcome our chief guest of the first session, Dr. Papu Kumar Yadav. Sir is a postdoctoral research associate in the Department of Agricultural and Biological Engineering at University of Florida. Before this, he got into PhD in Biological and Agricultural Engineering from Texas A&M University, College Station, Texas. Sir's area of research interest includes artificial intelligence, precision agriculture, remote and proximal sensing using multispectral, hyperspectral, and fluorescence imaging, drones, robotics, and autonomous agricultural systems. So we are more than happy to have you here, and we are eager to listen to you. So please, the podium is all yours, and please inspire us with your talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you very much. And thanks to the team of Just Agriculture for giving me this opportunity. I would like to share my presentation screen. Yeah, please let me know if my screen and sound, everything is visible.
Yes, sir. You're audible and visible both, sir.
Thank you. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about applications of artificial intelligence in agriculture. And so before starting, let's introduce the term what exactly is artificial intelligence. The term may look like there's a lot of hype going on in last few years or even decade. But this term artificial intelligence was defined the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially the computer programs that makes any intelligent machines. It was first coined in the year actually by McCarthy in the late 1950s. So this artificial intelligence term itself is not new. It has been there for more than 50, 60, 70 years actually. So what exactly artificial intelligence incorporates is it uses, how does it make any machines intelligent is by incorporating some machine learning algorithms. And in these algorithms, the most popular ones, the subset of it is the deep learning algorithms. So deep learning itself is a subset of machine learning, and they make intelligent machines, and hence we call those machines as artificially intelligent machines. There has been growth. Now AI has been used in all sectors, now including in agriculture sector too. So according to this Global Market Insights report, the global AI in agricultural sector is projected to surpass $10 billion in value by year 2032. Whereas in North America, it's projected to surpass $5 billion. And the reason behind this is there's a lot of ag tech based industries that are coming up place related to this. And these are just to name some of these. And these are based in the North American companies. Same thing applies to the growth of AI in India also. You can see this graph, it's like an increasing trend. You can see like the market value for AI in India is projected to reach almost $4 billion by year 2029. I wasn't able to find exact data for what the growth of AI in agriculture in India particularly looks like, but the overall sector is projected to reach close to like almost $4 billion. And in agriculture sector, there have been a lot of AI-based startup companies, like growing trend of startup companies in India. And some of these are just like the big ones. Commonly, they have made quite big in terms of their the money that they have been able to raise, like DAY-10, Ninja Cart, Kheti Gadi, Bharat Agri, and Cropping, just to name a few of them. AI in agriculture market sector looks something like this. You can see like where exactly AI will be used most primarily in the agriculture domain. So you can see for precision farming, I think it's the maximum it's going to be used in precision farming area. Like more than 27% of its application is going to be in precision farming. Then secondly, it's going to be also used in agricultural robotics, like autonomous tractors and robotic harvesters for fruits, vegetables, any other crops. And there's also livestock monitoring and water and what you can also see like some intelligent spraying. Like if you have a drone sprayers, like there are smart sprayers for doing some precision spray applications. So and also crop and soil monitoring, right? So they will also be used in those areas too. So these are the primarily used areas where AI is going to be heavily used in the farming applications. Now, when it comes to computer vision, as I already mentioned, artificial intelligence is also used to derive some meaningful information from pictures and videos. So if you are given any image or video, like we human beings, we try to say, okay, there is some information in that image and video. But how is a machine going to do? If the machine is able to do that, we call it computer vision. And deep learning does. So in traditional approach of computer vision, there were mathematical techniques they were used to detect color or edges. लेकिन अभी का जो new system है उसमें AI application algorithm use करते हुए we extract the features autonomously. And that is how we are able to say that, okay, this particular device has AI-based capability to extract features autonomously. So where are the how they can be used? So mostly when we use AI-based computer vision, they are used for classification, they are used for detection and segmentation. These are the very most commonly used applications when we are using AI-based computer vision. So what you are seeing in this image is like the cars are being detected. In this application, there is a robot that basically is placing some equipments on the table and it is going to place precisely at a different location. Same thing here, you can see a manipulator, robotic manipulator, also has end effector, and it places some stones from different areas and it piles up at the one spot. Now, these kind of robots can be used to also harvest some fruits, like on the trees, like oranges, citrus, they can be widely used. And same again, AI-based is used to detect here different kind of objects are being detected in real time. So these are some of the applications where you can see. Many algorithms are there, AI-based algorithms like Yellow series, including the version 3, version 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the latest version, which is commonly used in object detection, object segmentation, classification, and also for pose estimation approaches. So another ones are MobileNet version 2. BGG 16s are commonly and 19s are used for classification tasks. whereas mask are CNN is used for segmentation and object detection tasks. ResNet are used for classification tasks. So today I will be, so as I mentioned, there are wide range of applications of AI. So agriculture domain में AI का बहुत सारे uses हैं, जिसमें से मैं आज आप लोगों को एक क्रॉप डिजीज डिटेक्शन से लेके प्लास्टिक डिटेक्शन, जैसे कि प्लास्टिक कंटामिनेशन जो कॉटन फील्ड में होगा उसको कैसे डिटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, बैक्टीरियल डिटेक्शन, like sometimes you have some fungus and some bacteria on the fruit surfaces, how can we detect those using AI based algorithm से लेके robotic harvester. So in areas में मैं मेरा आज का presentation रहेगा. Besides that, we can also use to like predict yield. We can also try to determine the crop water stress index or nutrient stress in certain crops, and also it can be used for autonomous tracker, which is basically the navigation based robots. So crop disease detection कैसे कर सकते हैं? So Florida में like बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. फ्लोरिडा काफी जाना जाता है, जहाँ पे मैं रहता हूँ. वहाँ पे ऑरेंजेस जो सिट्रस होते हैं वो बहुत यहाँ पे ज्यादा मतलब ग्रो किया जाता है. और यहाँ पे मेजर बहुत सारे डिजीजेस लाइक सिट्रस पे हैं, जैसे कि सिट्रस ब्लैक स्पॉट से लेके सिट्रस कैंकर. तो देयर आर अदर डिजीजेस आल्सो, बट आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दीज टू पर्टिकुलर डिजीजेस. So citrus black spot can occur on fruit surface as well as on the leaf surface, but I will be presenting today citrus black spot on the fruit surface, and this is orange. And same thing, citrus canker can also occur on fruit as well as leaf, but today I will be talking about citrus canker on the leaf surface. So क्या हम AI based AI algorithm use करके इस citrus black spot fruit surface पे डिटेक्ट कर सकते हैं? क्या हम AI algorithm use करके citrus canker detect कर सकते हैं? So these are the 5 different conditions. As you can see, citrus black spot, they look like something like this. Greasy spot, ये एक दूसरा condition है. Melanous एक condition है. Wind scar है. और ये है like marketable, means there is no any disease or symptom. So this is the perfect one, like healthy. And these are some of the with different conditions. And this is the most important disease that causes a lot of yield loss. So our primary goal is, can we detect all of these collectively? So what we did, we collected these many amount of samples, and then we trained our AI algorithm. So इसके लिए हमने hyperspectral imaging system use किया, जिसमें 92 bands होते हैं. But again, 92 spectral bands can be very much computationally intensive, and there are a lot of correlated bands. So we need to get rid of those bands, correlated bands, and we only need to select some most important bands. So we selected 5 important bands using the principal component analysis technique, and then we used CNN architecture to extract the feature, और ये machine learning classifier use करके हमने उसको classification किया, तो इस model को train किया. So what did we get the result? Our results showed that we were able to detect, our main goal was to detect citrus black spot, because this is a disease that causes a lot of loss in the yield. We got like F1 score value of 93% and overall accuracy of close to 90%. So it is pretty good accuracy. So what you are seeing in this confusion matrix is the diagonal elements. They tell you the correctly classified all these classes. So these are the true classes, and these are the predicted by the trained machine learning classifier or AI algorithm. So you can see our goal was black spot. So 126 were correctly classified, and 7 of them were misclassified as a greasy spot. So this is how we did it. So we got pretty good actually result for by training the AI algorithm. This is also another way of analyzing the result using the ROC curve. Through this analysis, we basically, we get this classification result at a 50% threshold value, but we get this from 0 to all the way 1 threshold value. So this is a new hyperspectral. Now we are going to see on the leaf surface. So now this project is about the citrus canker on the leaf surface. So for this, we use a new hyperspectral imaging system developed by Dr. Jianwei Kim. We also call him Dr. Tony, at the Environmental Microbial and Food Safety Laboratory in Maryland, Beltsville. So what we can do is, you can get some orange or any leaf samples, and you can place them in these compartments. And this compartment is moves from left to right and right to left. And there is a hyperspectral imaging system over here. So once it has also the capability to basically measure the fluorescence imaging also. So once it moves from right to left, it basically captures the hyperspectral bands. And then the excitation of the LED is switched off, and then UVC excitation starts. So what happens is now when it moves from left to right, you get fluorescence imaging. So in one complete cycle, you get hyperspectral as well as fluorescence. But for this project, we just use hyperspectral. So the hyperspectral bands, now this has 348 bands. The previous one was 92, this has 348 bands in the range of 395 to 1005 nanometers. So what you are seeing over here, like if we scan these 5 different conditions, there were healthy lips and canker. So this is our goal to be able to detect, because this is the disease we are trying to detect. And greasy spot, melanus, and scab, these are the other conditions. So first, when we scan, we get some uncalibrated cubes, but I have already shown like a single cut cubes, but they are basically scanned 4 leaves, because if you see here, you can put 4 leaves at the same time, and when you generate the cube, you basically get 4 cubes like this, and then you cut them into single cubes. You can see how the cubes look like, and this is like without any radiometric correction. And after that, when you convert into reflectance values, then you get this kind of corrected cubes. And these are the cubes that we basically, from that, we find the most important 5 bands. And I don't want to explain much in detail, but this is the AI algorithm, which will help to classify all these 5 different classes. So we train this classifier using the 5 most important bands, and then we get the result. And this just shows the same thing that I told. First, we get the cube, we calibrate it, we cut into single cubes, then we try to train, use PCA to get the 5 most important bands, and then we train the CNN network to do the classification. And then it will automatically tell, okay, it is this particular disease, is the leaf belongs to canker class or the melanus class or any of these classes. So what result we got? When we train the model, we end up getting a F1 score of 85% and overall classification accuracy of 82%. It's not the best result, but it's also not the worst result. It's like acceptably pretty good result. Another project is like, can AI be used to detect plastic contamination in cotton fields? So what happens is, if you see this kind of plastic shopping bags, when they are like, they get flown away by wind, and they can go in the cotton field, and they can get tangled here. And especially here in the United States, in Texas, this project was done in Texas. They have like cotton harvester, and they create a cotton like a module. These are called round cotton modules. So these are cotton pickers. When they go, it's very difficult to locate these bags in the big, like hundreds and thousands of acres of field. So they send some people to do some field scouting, but practically it's impossible to do field scouting everywhere. So what we can, and then what happens when they end up here, they end up in the module, and when they go to the cotton gin, the people have to actually dig in and try to find those plastic bags and take out. And it's very inefficient process and very tiring process, and it's not effective. So some of the blacks, they remain there and they end up going into the cotton gin machine, and then it creates problem in the ginning machine. And even the quality of the cotton gets degraded because it gets into the fiber of the cotton. So what if we can use AI-based algorithm on a drone and survey the field to detect those bags? Then we can remove the bags, and then we can do the harvesting. So what will happen is, we minimize the amount of plastic contaminants that will end up going to the cotton gin. So this way we can maintain the quality of the cotton fiber. So how did we do that? So we conducted an experiment. So we had a cotton field. We manually tied like white and brown color plastic bags. And you can see, and then we used the drone and we collected images, and we trained the AI model, yellow V5, and then we detected it. As you can see, this section, we can see all the brown bags and the white bags are being detected in the boxes. And this is a zoomed in image. So BB means brown bags, WB means white bags, and these values are the confidence of the model. So you can see the model worked pretty good. And this is the accuracy result you can see. So 92% of the white bags were correctly detected, and only 68% of the brown bags were detected. So brown bags had low detection accuracy. Now, why was that? Because you can see the brown bags look similar to the soil color. So some of the bags, they got merged with the background of the soil, and it was very difficult for the model to be able to detect those brown bags. So that's the reason why brown bags were detected with lower accuracy than the white colored bags. Now, can we detect bacteria and fungus like E. coli bacteria using AI-based algorithm? Now, why we care this? Because imagine we have orange trees, citrus orchards, and there are different ways they're like irrigation, they get irrigated, or because of the birds, fecal matters, or some animals that roam inside their fecal matters, they can come in contact with the leaves, fruits, and through different sources, there can be some E. coli bacteria on the fruit surfaces. So when they are harvested, they can contaminate humans, and this gets transmitted. So can we do scouting? So what happens exactly? The current method is you collect some samples, you take it into the lab, you do the swabbing test in the lab, and then you try to detect कि उस पे कोई फंगस या कोई बैक्टीरिया है या नहीं. पर ये प्रोसेस काफी टेडियस हो जाता है और लाइक बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग हो जाता है. तो कोई ऐसा सिस्टम कोई जो कि हम उसको हैंड हेल्ड से लेके फील्ड पे ही जाके उसको स्काउटिंग कर सके, तो वहीं पे अगर दिख जाए तो वो ज्यादा इफेक्टिव रहेगा. तो फ्लोरेसेंस सिस्टम है एक हैंडहेल्ड CSID प्लस सिस्टम डेवलप्ड बाय सेफ्टी स्पेक कंपनी, एंड they are used in medical field in hospitals to detect if there is some fungus or some bacteria contaminants. So we use this system and we put sample over here. So to do our experiment to test, what we did, we inoculated some bacteria on these rubber slides at different concentration levels. So these are the droplets of the bacteria. And this does excites at the UVC range, and those bacteria fluoresce in a fluorescence wavelength. And then we image them, and after imaging, we create the sample data set and we train the deep learning model, so AI model, and then it does the classification at this 4 concentration level. So we also wanted to know कि कितना lower concentration तक हम उसको detect कर सकते हैं. So we had like 4 concentration level, 10 to the power 8 colony forming unit per droplet, and 10 to the power 7.7, 10 to the power 7.4, and 10 to the power 7. So what did we get? Our classification results shows that overall accuracy was 94%. So we were able to detect with a pretty good accuracy. And the highest detection accuracy, classification accuracy was for 10 to the power 8 and 10 to the power 7, with F1 score value of 96% each. So majority of the misclassification are between 7.7 and 7.4. Here you can see. So ये 7.7 और 7.4 जो droplets थे इसके concentration काफी confuse हो रहे थे, but बाकी the extreme ends वाले they were pretty well classified. Same thing, ROG curve is another way of analyzing the classification at all different threshold values from 0 to 1. Another application of AI is robotic harvester and citrus harvester. So as you can see, is a manipulator with end effector, and this was designed by my PI, Dr. Tom Burks, and he developed this at University of Florida. And I'm just going to show like how it works. There's a small video clip to show you the demonstration of its working mechanism. Now this uses traditional computer vision algorithm. The newer system will use like AI-based computer vision algorithm. There is another closer view of the same mechanism. So this system, as you can see, we have like the orchard, and it can, so you can mount the manipulator with end effector on top inside of this, and it has some camera to look the position itself, with some other sensors, of course, to position the manipulator and the end effector to harvesting, and also collect it in some bucket or some container. So this system, we are trying to modify this system with new design, and it's a work under progress. And this is my advisor when he had developed the earlier version of this. So in terms of India's agriculture, how AI can be used. So what are the major crops in India? We see like we have rice, and then cotton, soybean, maize or wheat, millet. And these are the some major primary crops grown in India. Now these crops can also have, they also have a lot of challenges, like in terms of disease and pest management. So this system, although this entire leaf will not fit, but this is already heavily infested. The goal needs to be, can we detect as early as possible? मतलब जितना जल्दी हम उसको डिटेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि उसमें कोई सिम्टम्स आने वाला है, तो हम मिटिगेशन एफर्ट्स ले सकते हैं, कोई केमिकल स्प्रे करे या some other management aspect we can do. So we can take some samples, part of the samples, we can bring it, scan, use our AI algorithm, and try to detect if there is any possibility of what is the leaf rust disease caused by this particular fungus. Now, fungus can be detected basically by either in the hyperspectral range or the fluorescence. Now, the good thing is that this machine has the capacity of doing both hyperspectral when it moves from right to left, and fluorescence when it moves left to right. Now, the reason why I'm saying is because fungus and bacteria are pathogens, and they basically glow in the fluorescence range. So fluorescence imaging is more effective to detect bacteria and pathogens. But when you want to detect the disease itself, then hyperspectral might be beneficial. Similarly, in soybean like leaf, there is again the bacterial blight disease, which is common in India. And if you want to manage this and do some early detection, then you can take sample of these, you can put them, run this scanner, used AI algorithm to see if there is this disease possibility. And if you can detect it early, then you can take the management or effective measures to do some treatment. And that way you can avoid spread of the disease at a larger scale, and you can minimize the loss, minimize the yield loss caused because of this disease. So what are the key takeaways? So we have shown that hyperspectral with AI algorithm can help to detect like autonomously diseases on the fruits and leaves of citrus with a higher accuracy, like greater than 90%. We also saw fluorescence imagery with AI algorithm can also detect some pathogens like E. coli bacteria at different concentration levels at a higher accuracy of almost 94. We got like 94% accuracy. Similarly, we also showed that AI can also be used to detect unwanted plastic contaminants in cotton fields before harvest to minimize the amount of contaminants that end up at cotton gins. And AI can also be used to develop robotic harvesters for different fruits like citrus. So you can also design harvesters using AI-based algorithm. And AI can also help to solve other challenges that is faced by the agricultural sector in India and beyond, like from detecting and management of the disease and the pest, including the robotic harvesters of fruits and vegetables. So I'd like to thank the team of Just Agriculture for giving me this opportunity to present some of my work. And I would also like to thank all the collaborators and the funding agencies who supported this project. I would also like to thank Utkarsh Gaure and Dr. DPS Badwal, including my advisor, Dr. Burks, and all the people who were involved, part of all these multiple projects. And I would be happy to take any question.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session, of course. And I would like to request our participants, if they have any question, they can unmute themselves and ask, or otherwise they can put in the chat box. So, sir, I'm enabling the chat box as well as I'm giving the access to unmute themselves. So participants, if you have any question, you can unmute and ask, or otherwise you can put in the chat box.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I am asking about millet in India. Millet for AI. How can it help you? Help you, sir, AI. Millet for
Sorry, your voice is very low. I'm having hard time.
millet crops, sir.
Yes, millet crop.
In AI, how can help you and how much benefit?
Yes. So same thing. If there are any diseases, so you want to do early scouting, so you can get some samples, leaf samples, and so there are two ways of doing that, right? So you can also actually mount hyperspectral cameras on the drone, and you can do the scouting of the millet field. And then you can try to see if there is some disease infestation, there is any traits of disease. Am I able to answer your question? Is that what your question was? Disease detection in millet?
Mr. Mukesh. So any other participant who is having any other question?
AI can be used in field crop.
What did you say, sir? Can you please repeat?
AI can be used in field crops.
In what crops?
Rice,
Rice? Yes.
paddy,
Yes.
paddy and potato.
जी जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। तो जो राइस वाला पैडी फील्ड है, तो उसको आपकी अगर कोई उस पर डिजीज आने के आपको लाइक स्काउटिंग करना है, तो ड्रोन पे भी आप हाइपर स्पेक्ट्रल सेंसर माउंट कर सकते हो और उसको स्कैन कर सकते हो पूरा फील्ड पे। आप एक बार उसको स्काउटिंग करके फिर उसका एआई एल्गोरिदम से आप उसको ट्रेन कर सकते हो, और उसका कोई भी डिजीज आपको अगर दिखता है तो वो दिख जाएगा उसमें। और पोटैटो फील्ड में भी बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं। पोटैटो फील्ड में तो आप पोटैटो को ही एक्चुअली सैंपल को उठा के इस मशीन पे आप डाल के स्कैन करके आप चेक कर सकते हैं कि उसमें कोई डिजीज आ रहा है कि नहीं। तो जी हाँ सर, बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं।
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a question in the chat box as well. So, Sir Gopi Krishna, she is asking, will these robotic harvesters pick fruits at different level of maturity?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it has to be designed that way. Yes, but if it is designed at different level of maturity, then yes, they have the capability to do that. Yes, there are certain parameters and factors that need to play when you design those manipulator. When you design the manipulator and the end effector, you can design accordingly at different level of maturity. And yes, because the pressure, how much pressure it needs to put depends on how mature the fruits are, right? And what the sizes are. So the end effector can do the adjustment based on that, because they have pressure sensors attached on that in there to feel the pressure. So yes, they can definitely do that. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Thank you, sir, for answering. Any other questions, participants?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, as you told, we can check like early crops symptoms and symptomatology of disease and all. This is for helpful for sir Indian farming because there is a marginal land out there. Na? It can be helpful or not, sir, Indian farming.
Yes, it can be helpful. Like, what is the problem? Can you please be specific to the kind of problem of the Indian farm?
No, some of farmers are not getting how and which crop in particular crop, na which type of disease is there. Like some of this nowadays this virus and all is there, na and fungi,
Right.
bacteria. They are not specifying and they are not giving proper treatment there because they are using if one disease is there, they are putting another one chemical. Means
Right,
not
right.
perfect one.
Yes, I think this will be a very good solution to that kind of actually situation that you are mentioning. And this is the reason why these kind of systems are used to exactly know. It's like when we get sick, we want to go to the hospital and do certain blood test or different kind of test to get the exact infection that we have, right? Same thing. So that's the reason why in this system I demonstrated today, we have two systems. Sometimes what happens, you have disease, but you are asymptomatic. So sometimes the crops they already have infected virus or sorry, bacteria or fungus, but the symptoms appear much later and it is already spread into the entire farm field. And you don't want to do that. So what you can do, you can use the fluorescence imaging system to actually detect if there is a presence of the bacteria or the fungus on the leaf surface or the fruit surface. So you are actually trying to detect before the symptoms starts appearing. So you can really do early detection of any kind of crops, including the vegetable farm, vegetable crops and the fruit crops, to know the symptoms to know if they have been already infected with any kind of bacteria or pathogens. Is that okay, Vicky? Is that answers your question?
Yes, sir. But one more question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this villages people and all there may be it may be sir field crop yeah, like horticulture and other crop. How sometime they are if someone is telling why this particular crop this is there, you can use this chemical, but they are not believe that. But what they are using before that, na that only they will continue, and in last they will lose of the crop. How we can avoid this problem in Indian farming system?
Well, that is too difficult for me to answer that. So maybe if you can be a little bit more specific and you can email me, then I would be happy to help you with that.
Thank you, sir.
You have, yes, of course.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Rosali.
Sir, I just wanted to ask a very casual question. That is that as we know in India, majority of the people are involved in this agricultural farming. Means majority of the farmers are local farmers or they grow for their own purpose. So I wanted to ask that this AI technology in India, majority of the farmers don't even know exactly the new technologies that are invented. So how can we tell them about these latest technologies that are being invented in the farming fields, or how can we make them sure that these technologies are helpful to those
Yeah.
local farmers who are not very, or I can say they are not very, they don't know about what is going on in this field.
Yeah, that's a great question, Vaisali. I'm glad that you asked that. And this
Thank you,
challenge
sir.
has also been in the United States also, because farmers have not only they are not aware, but they have a practice that they follow from generations that they will do that and they will continue to do. So to answer your question is like this, I think here in the United States, what they do, a lot of the universities, they have extension agencies with the research centers, and that through the extension agencies at the research center, they try to create programs at the universities, and they invite the local growers, local farmers, and they try to showcase them the benefits. They give them some presentation, they do some workshops, they do seminars, and they try to train those farmers. They try to demonstrate them, hey, if these are the technologies, if you follow, these are the results we get. So of course the farmers, now for that, farmers need to be a little bit educated, but if they are completely uneducated, then we need to find like a field demonstration by showing them that through the workshop, showing them that, okay, we did some trials in this particular farm, and this is the result that we saw. So these are the approaches the university, agricultural university in India should to take the initiative through workshops and seminars by collaborating with the local farmers through the university programs. The government, of course, they can launch their own program in trying to bring awareness among the farmers about these technologies. But yes, I think those are the ways I think have worked here, and I believe it can also work in India if those agricultural universities take these kind of initiatives.
Thank you, sir.
Of course.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a question in the chat box from Dr. Priyanka. So she's asking, as we know, the cotton picking operation is very laborious and time consuming, as well as we have to do that 3 to 4 times in one crop season. So is it possible to do this task with the help of AI? Also, so she's asking, AI-based machine will be suitable for small land holding Indian farmers. That I think you already answered, sir.
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, Dr. Priyanka, right? Is the one. Okay, so yes, I understand your concern that farm in the United States are at large scale farming is done here, so big machines can work. But the cotton picker that I showed, yes, that is meant for large scale farming. But there are other cotton pickers, I think robotic cotton pickers people are developing. I don't have the video here, but they are working to design those small scale farming cotton pickers. Like some of them are like suction based, like a vacuum based, and some are small robots that they can pick up. So yes, those kind of equipment or those kind of small scale AI based technology can be useful. But again, the most challenging aspect is reducing the cost, like bringing the cost of those technology lower in such a way that the farmers who do farming at a small scale in India, countries like India, they should be able to afford that. So that's the only challenge that I think that's the one major challenge that needs to be fixed. But once that challenge is, I think, overcome, then I think, yes, there are small scale based technologies that may be suitable for small scale farming of India. And yes, AI based technology can definitely help in that.
Thank you,
Was it-
sir. Sir, there is another question. Sir, like in 95% of the cases, we know that, sir, like on the basis of any experienced person, some kind of agriculture, officer is there or somebody is there. So they will be telling about the pest incidents or what kind of pest is this, how we can, these kind of things are there. Books are available, literature is there. So can we do like that, sir? Like if AI is there and we know how much wide applications are of these technique is. So can we do like, sir, can we make a proper crop, calendar, and, AI will be taking all the weather and climatic data, plus AI will be taking the soil conditions, and AI will be taking the how much, what is the condition of the crop now. And AI will be telling you the solution, like at this stage you need to do this, at this stage you need to do that. So can we do that, sir? And how much this is feasible, sir? How much we can,
Yeah.
trust on that?
Yeah, it's a tough job. That is exactly we call decision support system, and trying to incorporate different data, weather data, soil data, crop phenotypic data, and we can create like the algorithm which can actually make decision if there is a possibility in this time frame of this particular disease infestation. or if there is in the other time frame, if there is another, if there is a possibility of this particular disease infestation. So yes, it can do that. And here people have been taking, universities are doing research to develop that kind of decision support system tools on a web-based platform. So if you have weather station data, you fly the drone, you push the data on the cloud, and there is an algorithm that runs on that and takes care of that. So yes, how feasible it is, it's challenging. It's not very easy as it looks like, because for that we need a lot of data, data to be collected from different farms. So it is feasible. It's not very easy to do it, but definitely it is doable. Yeah, but it requires a lot of research over the period of time collecting data. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for answering, and well said, sir. So there
Yeah.
is another question from the chat box, sir. So could you provide examples of AI-driven solutions that help in, optimizing irrigation and water usage, sir?
Yeah, that's good question. So provide an example, right? Yes. So there can be, imagine a situation that you have any particular crop you can imagine. Mostly, let's say, for example, I would say vegetable crops which are drip irrigated, right? So by using AI based, let's say you have a drone and you have some multi-spectral camera mounted on it, you can try to measure the crop water stress of that particular vegetable crop. And then you can try to determine that which section needs like more water. Is that water stressed or not? And the water stress can also be can also cause disease. It can make the crop to be more prone to disease infestation, also pest infestation. So in that kind of scenario, that is one example that you can try to irrigate based on that. Another scenario can be like this. You have some soil moisture sensors, and you are measuring the, you are incorporating the soil moisture data along with the weather data, like evapotranspiration data, and you can use machine learning algorithm to predict how much water it might need at that particular growth stage of the crop. So those kind of scenarios you can use AI to actually schedule your irrigation demand for the crops, like especially the drip irrigated crops.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So another question from the chat box, so how are the farmers and agricultural workers are being trained to use AI technologies?
How are the farmers being trained to use AI technology here, or like in terms of India scenario? Like in United States, how they are trained is, as I already mentioned, we have extension, all the universities who does research in agricultural related area. We have extension work also that we do. So through extension work, we organize workshops, seminars, all the growers and farmers, they come, and then we train them. Like these are the technologies you can use to better have a better yield or to do better prediction of the disease and pest. And these are the management practices you can practice. So trainings are provided to the farmers through extension work provided from the university. That is one approach done. The second is through the awareness through media and then through other workshops that is organized by the government agencies, I would say. Yeah. But primarily it is done through the university extension agencies. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So another question is, what are the potential economic and environmental benefits or demerits and merits of adopting AI in agriculture? So as if we are adopting AI, then already unemployment is there. So more people will be unemployed. Laborers and all those people will lose their jobs. So in your opinion, sir, how you can justify this one, sir?
Yeah, this is great question again, and this is like one of the most challenging question to answer. So ChatGPT, we all know, right? Like it's getting a lot of hype, and it's of course AI-based technology. And I believe that persons who is the CEO of OpenAI, Sam. So he keeps getting asked this question all the time, right? Is ChatGPT going to take away the jobs? And I would try to answer the kind of answer he kinds to give. I think when calculator came, it only helped us as a tool to enhance our performance. So I think AI is similar technology, which will, I won't say it will take away jobs, but it will change. Of course, it can change the way job is done. So maybe certain jobs, repetitive tasks that is handled by a person right now. Maybe it will be taken care by the machines in coming days. And humans can maybe involved in doing some more other jobs where there's more decision making, more creative decision making part. But I think it will only help in what you call enhancing the efficiency of the work that we do. Like let's say a farmer, if he or she can only harvest small amount of crop, if there is AI based technology, he or she can make more informed decisions. So that is only going to help. So I think there are always two sides of this kind of any kind of technological advancements. It is the way how you look at it. So if we look on with a positive lens, then I think there is more an advantage than the disadvantages, I think. But yes, there's always an ethical concern that the final decision, I think, should always lie in the hands of the farmers. The human should make the final decision. AI should only be used as a tool to help you to make that decision, I think.
Yes, sir. So any environmental impacts also, sir?
So environmental impact in terms of there are different ways to answer that. I mean, people say when you are training the model, they consume a lot of power on the GPU.
Yes,
Because
sir.
most of the AI models are trained on GPU and they use a lot of computation. So there's energy concern, they come and climate thing comes. And I believe what the creator of the GPT says, I think it's not that much of an issue in terms of energy consumption while training the model. I don't know, is there any other environmental impact, like in terms of pesticide application you are saying? Like if we
No,
can
sir.
create it,
Maybe in the other way, in the other way only, sir. Not in the pesticide way, sir.
yeah, in the other way, yeah, I don't think there should be any energy related concern unless, I mean, I'm not the right person to answer that question, but there are experts who can answer that question better for this. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So, sir, I think there are no more questions. Participants, if you have any other questions, then please ask. Otherwise, we can conclude the session.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, please ask.
Ma'am, I know about AI can be helped to identify any fruits is harmful or beneficial. Can I help AI for this?
So, sir, Abhay is asking, can we use AI for identifying the fruits? Maybe it is poisonous or non-poisonous, edible or
Yeah.
non-edible, like that.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, so the training, so when it can identify any objects as long as you have enough, you first collect enough poisonous fruit versus non-poisonous fruit data set. So if you create a lot of data set, and then we can train the model to detect a poisonous versus non-poisonous fruit. Yes, it can do that.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Abhay.
Dear participants, any other question if you have? So, sir, I guess there are no more. Yeah, Vaishali is trying to ask something. Vaishali?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
So my
please.
question is a little bit similar, which is earlier asked to you by one person. During my research work, I visited many fields and many farmers which were quite poor. So we used to have discussions about various technologies that are being invented. So AI was one of them. So when we used to talk about this AI to those farmers, the very one thing that they used to tell us is the response was not very good. And the very first thing they used to say is that these things or these AI will take our jobs from us. So not on the basis of government function, but as just a student who is studying in this field, what can be that one thing that we can tell those farmer on our basis that they can have some kind of change in their thoughts regarding this AI? What
Yeah.
is that one thing that as a student we can do to tell them, because right now also we are visiting their fields, so what can be that one thing that we can tell them?
Yes, I think, yeah. So great question again, Vaisali. So this is question that we also get asked here in the United States, because even though looks like the US farmers are more educated, but they are also hesitant towards adopting AI-based technology. They are not very happy to accept that. They have the same concern. Oh, this AI will take our jobs and all. Like even people here, they are concerned like that. So I can definitely, I understand the concern of the farmers back in India. So how can you answer that question? Well, it's very challenging. I think as I mentioned before last time, try to give them some examples. Like I think one example you can give them that before tractors came into the picture, you used to, let's say, plow the field using the hand plow or the bull plow, right? Or the oxes are used. I think even they are used in very poor areas of the villages. But by tractor, you are enhancing that efficiency. It's not taking away your jobs in particular. So just try to give those kind of analogy, like, hey, it will only help to uh, help to ease your hard task that you are doing. It can enhance your efficiency, or it can enhance the yield of the crops. So let's say if you are making if you are getting a yield of, let's say, 100 tons per acre, maybe with AI you will get 200 tons per acre. So in return, if you are minimizing the labor cost, or if you have to hire 10 laborers, you can actually get done with 5 laborers, but you can also get the profitability. So if you are enhancing your profitability, I think that helps, probably will encourage and motivate them to adopt that technology. I think that's the best way you can, as a student, at least for now, you can answer. Of course, it may or may not convince, but I think that's what I can think right now at the top of my head.
Yeah,
But
sir.
of course,
It was nice, sir. I'll definitely try this one. Thank you, sir.
sure, of course, Vaishali. Thanks. I'm glad you asked that question.
So we will take last question from the chat box. So Prashant is asking, can we use data visualization techniques through remote sensing methods for particular new problems that arises in the crops?
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah, you can. Data visualization technique is again part of machine learning approaches, and you can definitely find some trends and patterns to do some prediction. Yeah, so you can definitely use that.
Thank you so much, sir. What a wonderful session, sir. What a wonderful way of yours to talk to our participants, and what a wonderful way of you, sir, to in a convincing and very comfortable way you answered the question. So I, on the behalf of participants as well as Just Agriculture, I thank you, sir. I express my wholehearted thanks to you. And we would like to another time also we would like to hear to you, sir. So thank you so much for sparing your valuable time.
Yeah, thanks, Preeti, and thanks again to the team of Just Agriculture for allowing
Thank you
me,
so
giving
much,
me
sir.
this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So participants, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. So shall we start, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So participants, moving towards the next session of the day. So we have with us today Mr. Devesh Jha. He's a founder and MD of DAY-10, which has started delivering vaccine in India with ICMR, highly appreciated by WHO, UNICEF, Government of India, and Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi. Devesh sir comes from a small village of Bihar. DAY-10, sir's company DAY-10 is building drones and UAV, robot and IoT, satellites and spacecrafts, electric and amphibious aircraft, launch vehicle by promoting research and innovation in the field of space, aviation, and robotics. Dedicated for agriculture, defense, space exploration, airlines, healthcare, smart village, education, logistics, and cargo. So DAY-10 is building Kisan Station, that is Knowledge Intelligence System and Agro Application Network, which is provider of drone-based farming solution. The AI platform uses image analysis, sensor analysis, spectral analysis solutions for early stage disease detection in the crops and in taking prevention measures while solving problems in the supply chain and source tracing. So DAY-10 has made presence over UK, Vietnam, African countries for serving agriculture, healthcare, and homeland securities. So we are more than happy to have you here, sir. So podium is all yours. Please address us and inspire us with your talk. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, everyone. सबसे पहले बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद एंड ये जो आप वेबिनार करा रहे हैं, this is impacting not just the agricultural scientists, all ecosystem who are involved in this agriculture and farming thing. मैं थोड़ा सा एक दो I will begin my presentation by answering some of the questions you asked another dignitaries. क्योंकि मेरा भी प्रेजेंटेशन उसी से कनेक्टेड है. सबसे पहले आपको जैसे फार्मर को बहुत ही आसान लफ्जों में हमने बताया कि मान लो आपके हाथ में घाव है तो आप सिर्फ हाथ में दवा डालते हो या पूरे शरीर पे अप्लाई कर लेते हो? डेफिनेटली आप पूरे जहां पे घाव दवा है, जहां पे घाव है वहीं पे दवा डालते हो. तो इसी तरीके से ये जो क्रॉप हेल्थ मॉनिटरिंग है या ड्रोन या एआई डेटा एमएल जो है, आपके पूरे खेत में जहां पे बीमारी है वहीं पे दवा डालती है. द मोमेंट यू टेल दिस टू द फार्मर, that's connect. Problem with this agriculture ecosystem is that don't mind my language, but जो रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशंस है ना, फार्मर को उसके भाषा में आप टेक्नोलॉजी को नहीं समझाएंगे तो इस चीज को दूसरे वे में लेंगे. जैसे ड्रोन है तो ड्रोन का लेबर कम नहीं कर रहा है, उनकी यील्ड को बढ़ा रही है. जैसे हम बताते हैं कि सब बताओ आपकी इलाज अगर बिना एक्सरे का करूं, बिना एमआरआई का करूं तो मुझे बहुत सारे ऐसे ट्रीटमेंट करने होंगे जो यूजफुल नहीं होगा, और एक्सरे देख के मैं आपका एग्जैक्ट ट्रीटमेंट कर सकता हूं. इसी तरीके से हम आपके खेत का फोटो लेते हैं. Now that farmer got understood, okay, this drone or this AI, this ML is thing helping me कि मैं अब कम दवा छीट के ज्यादा यील्ड करूंगा, क्योंकि ज्यादा दवा ज्यादा जहर डालना तो उसे भी पता है कि इट्स रॉन्ग थिंग. सो वी मस्ट वर्क ऑन द दैट वे कि आप जो भी लंबी चौड़ी हम GIS, रिमोट सेंसिंग, ब्ला ब्ला, DNN, CNN, डीप टेक करें या अपने लैब में करें. जब फार्मर से आप बात करें उसे सीधे लफ्जों में कहें कि देख भाई ये टेक्नोलॉजी आने से तेरा ये कॉस्ट बेनिफिट है. मोर फार्मर, इंडिया सब्सिडाइज्ड एग्रीकल्चर इकोसिस्टम. दूसरी क्या चीज जो आ रही है कि आज के डेट में आप उस फार्मर आप किसे मानते हो, वी टू होम यू डूइंग फार्मर. अब के स्क्रीन पे फोटो होगा, राइट? जस्ट ट्राई टू सी दिस पिक्चर. मैंने इसमें कोई टेक्स्ट नहीं डाला, कुछ नहीं डाला है. इस पे एक लड़का आपको दिख रहा होगा रिमोट देते हुए, एक बूढ़े अंकल भी दिख रहे होंगे, पीछे में नए यूथ भी देख रहे होंगे, उसकी क्यूरियोसिटी भी देख रहे होंगे. फार्मिंग को हमने बना दिया है कि जो पुराने लोग हैं, नॉन टैबू लोग हैं, वही करेंगे. आप देखो जोमेटो ने कैसे रिवॉल्यूशन लाया. पहले आज से 10 साल पहले किसी को बोलते खाना लेके आ जा, तो या मुझे खाना पहुंचाने का काम मिल रहा है तो लोग नहीं ज्वाइन करते. जोमेटो ने उसकी पूरी पैकेजिंग की, एक टी-शर्ट दिया, एक बाइक दिया, उसको जोमेटो कैप्टन कहा, जोमेटो पार्टनर किया, एंड दैट्स हाउ दे इंटीग्रेटेड ए ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ मैन पावर. So this technology is going to impact more to the rural youth and the people. The idea of these technology, not just by telling myself, other companies are also, like suppose we are doing a crop health monitoring. Now by sitting in your home, you are able to, आज से जैसे अभी जीरोधा आपने देखा होगा, अप स्टॉक्स देखा होगा, ग्रोथ नाम की ऐप आई है. मतलब आज से 10 साल पहले शेयर खरीदना एक नॉर्मल लोगों के लिए बड़ी बात होती थी, लेकिन आज आप एक सिंगल ऐप मारो और आप शेयर खरीद सकते हो. आप शेयर के बारे में जानकारी प्राप्त कर सकते हो, कंपनी का डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन है. वही सारी चीजें अब हेल्थ एग्रीकल्चर में होगी. नोएडा, गुड़गांव में बैठे हुए IT का एक इंजीनियर वो देख सकता है अपने ऐप में कि मेरे गांव में, मेरे खेत में क्या हो रहा है. क्या मैं इस जो पैकेज ऑफ प्रैक्टिस है, जो मेरे बाप दादा चाचा जो सैकड़ों वर्षों से वही बीज वही खाद यूज कर रहे हैं, क्या मैं ऑनलाइन यूज करूं क्या? तो वो बंदे को 10, 15, 20 मिनट जो अभी वो फेसबुक पे बिताता है, टिकटॉक पे बिताता है, यूट्यूब पे बिताता है, वो खुद फार्मिंग कर सकता है. सो देयर इज ए न्यू काइंड ऑफ इकोसिस्टम इज बीइंग इन्वॉल्व्ड बाय यूजिंग AI, ML एंड these drones. See, any technology is making a transparency between all stakeholders. It's you. अगर आप AI, ML गांव के बूढ़े किसान को समझाने जाओगे तो आप अपना एनर्जी बहुत ज्यादा उनको, तो वो तो लास्ट बेनिफिशियरी है. दे विल बेनिफिट इट लाइक फ्रॉम द टेलीकॉम इकोसिस्टम. लास्ट यूजर को नहीं समझाया गया कि जियो क्या होता है, जियो फाइबर ऑप्टिक्स क्या होती है, 4G 5G क्या होता है. एंड यूजर को पता है कि यार मेरा ना फोटो देख लेता हूँ. वन रिलेटिव नाउ, गांव का एक स्मॉल गांव में बैठा हुआ कोई आदमी अपने बाहर काम कर रहे हैं, अपने बच्चे को आराम से देख पाता है, वीडियो बात कर रहा है, तो ये उनकी एक्साइटमेंट है. सो रादर देन एक्सप्लेन टेक्नोलॉजी, एक्सप्लेन द बेनिफिट. नाउ कमिंग ऑन दिस पॉइंट, अब ये एक ऐप देखोगे, ये ऐप में बैठा हुआ बंदा जो नाउ एग्रीकल्चर इनोवेशन शुड बी नॉट directed toward just the rural farmer, it should be for us also. IT का बंदा बैठा हुआ हूं, मैं आज ऑफिस में बैठा हूं, एक आम बिजनेसमैन बैठा हुआ है और वो अपनी खेती, उसको खेत से मतलब भी नहीं है कि कौन उसके गांव में कर रहा है, उसके बिहाफ पे नहीं. तो अब एक ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म की जरूरत है जिसमें वो बंदा अपने गांव के खेत को देख सके। आज से 10 साल 20 साल पहले कैन यू इमेजिन कि आपका फूड कोई थर्ड पार्टी लेके आएगा? आप एक टैक्सी में एक अनजान आदमी के साथ बैठ कर शेयर करोगे? मतलब ये नॉर्म हो गया, शेयर खाना नॉर्म हो गया। बस एग्रीकल्चर ही ऐसा छूटा हुआ जगह है जहां एग्रीकल्चर में सबको फार्मर बनना पड़ेगा। यस, हमें अगर आज अब फार्मर करने के लिए क्या हो, अब आपको खेत पे नहीं जाना, तो इसीलिए हम लोगों ने एक इकोसिस्टम बनाया कि एक हमारे आज सुबह का, मैं जैसे आपको ड्रोन का एक वीडियो दिखा रहा हूं, ये धामन गांव अमरावती का है। एक छोटा बच्चा 18 19 20 साल का लड़का, मेरा पायलट इसे फ्लाई कर रहा है एंड फार्मर को आसान शब्दों में बता रहा है। आज से कुछ दिन पहले क्या होती थी कि हमारी जो पिच होती थी वो बहुत ही टेक्निकल और कॉम्प्लेक्स होती थी। देन वी गॉट टू नो दैट कि यार इस फार्मर को इम्पैक्ट से मतलब है। देन फार्मर से जो इंटरेक्ट करेगा वो बंदा मेरा इंजीनियर नहीं होना चाहिए, वही इकोसिस्टम से आया हुआ बंदा, जो बंदा आज जैसे फौज में जाने की तैयारी कर रहा है, सम पीपल हु इज लाइक ऐसा यूथ जो एनसीसी में जाने की तैयारी कर रही है, उसको कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी से मैं जोड़ूं। ए मोबाइल नाउ यूट्यूब एक रिवॉल्यूशनरी प्लेटफॉर्म कैसे बन गया, बिकॉज ए लॉट ऑफ वी आर गुड विद द पॉपुलेशन। ये जो एक यूथ पॉपुलेशन है ना, वो अचानक से कंटेंट को देखना शुरू कर दी। पूरी की पूरी ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म, ये पूरी की पूरी यूट्यूब, ये सारी चीजें जो है ना ड्रिवन बाय यूथ हो रहा है। यूथ मतलब जो नए लोग आपके फार्मिंग इकोसिस्टम पे आ रहे हैं। नाउ the eminent people like you, now the researchers like you also got a platform where you got a lot of data, where you talk about technical things. We as a company are able to provide you whatever the data which is generated by drones, the AI, by IoTs, by satellite imagery, we are giving to you. But now end user should just be impacted. Let's not convince them that what and how we are doing functioning. Now I'm coming on the point, आज का मेरा टॉपिक है कि कैसे क्रॉप हेल्थ मॉनिटरिंग बाय ड्रोन्स पॉसिबल है। एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दूंगा आपको। प्लांटिक्स नाम का एक ऐप है, राइट, जिसे आप फोटो खींचते हो और आपको बीमारी बताती है। तो फिर ये ड्रोन से क्यों? सिंपल सा अंतर है कि प्लांटिक्स को आपको हाथ में ले जाके कैरी करके देखना है कि कहीं बीमारी है या नहीं है, मतलब थोड़ा पत्ता पीला हो जा रहा है नहीं हो जा रहा है। यार 1 एकड़ का खेत है, 2 एकड़ का खेत है, मतलब आप मोबाइल लेके खेत में घूमते रहोगे, मींस यू हैव टू डू अ फुटवर्क। बट ड्रोन क्या करता है, इट्स जस्ट फ्लाइंग ओवर द क्रॉप एंड वेयर एवर द स्ट्रेस आर। अब उस स्ट्रेस एरिया को पूरे 1 एकड़ में या आधे एकड़ में जहां बीमारी है वहीं पे जाके आपको फोटो खींचना है। मतलब इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ड्रोन डेटा विद द मोबाइल इमेजरी इज गोइंग टू क्रिएट ए रिवॉल्यूशन एंड ईज ऑफ एक्सेस। सपोज आप बैठे हुए हैं गुड़गांव में, दिल्ली में, अब आपको मेरे ड्रोन ने बताया कि सर इस पैचेज में एक 1 मीटर बाय 1 मीटर एरिया में कुछ स्ट्रेस आ रहे हैं जो आपको नेकेड आई से विजिबल नहीं है। देन यू आर गोइंग देन टेकिंग द पिक्चर एंड AI/ML इज टेलिंग यू पॉपिंग अप द पिक्चर। So in the ecosystem, only drone cannot detect the disease. Only mobile, although mobile imagery is very efficient, but mobile की limitations है. You will have to go to plant to plant. और सैटेलाइट की लिमिटेशंस है कि वो मैक्रो एनालिसिस करता है, माइक्रो एनालिसिस नहीं करता है। सो वी एज ए कंपनी आर कमिंग टू कंबाइनिंग ऑल दिस थ्रीज, सैटेलाइट इमेजरी, ड्रोन इमेजरी एंड मोबाइल इमेजरी, टू मेक ए इम्पैक्टफुल इकोसिस्टम व्हिच विल बी रिजल्टेड इन द better disease detection. जैसे आप सोचो ना, आपके पास छोटा नोकिया फोन हुआ करता था जिसका पर्पस था आपसे बस बात कराना, फिर उसमें मैसेजेस भी आए, फिर आके स्मार्टफोन आया, फिर ड्रोन, मोबाइल में ड्रोन फोटो भी आ गया, और धीरे धीरे कैमरा ऑब्सोलीट हो गया, फिर आपका एक स्मार्टफोन आज के डेट में वो सब चीज कर रहा है। सो स्लोली बट इसके बिहाइंड बहुत सारी टेक्नोलॉजी काम करती है। आपके उस कैमरे के पीछे बहुत सारी कंपनियां काम की है जो इंटीग्रेशन की है। आपके पास जो स्मार्टफोन है उसमें आप जब गौर से देखोगे तो 50 कंपनियों का योगदान। अब कोई कार देखो, ऐप आप जो खोल रहे हो तो कार देखो इज इंटीग्रेटेड विद ऑल द ऑटोमोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरर। सो वो एक इंटरफेस है आपके पास। ऐसे ही एग्रीकल्चर में एक इंटरफेस की बहुत ही जरूरत है, जिसमें बैकएंड में AI/ML मॉडलिंग, डेटा, ब्लॉकचेन, सोर्स ट्रेसिंग, लॉट ऑफ थिंग। सो सबसे पहले जियोस्पेशियल इंटेलिजेंस की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। जियोस्पेशियल इंटेलिजेंस मींस सपोज अगर आपने ओला यूज किया, मतलब आपको रियल टाइम में इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रहा है कि कार कहाँ पे खड़ा है और आदमी कहाँ पे खड़ा है। इससे पिछली वाली जनरेशन में क्या हो रही थी, जब जस्ट डायल का जनरेशन था या जब इंडिया मार्ट का जनरेशन था, उसमें क्या होती थी, आपको मोबाइल नंबर मिलता था बट जियोस्पेशियल इंटेलिजेंस नहीं मिलता था कि भाई अभी इस वक्त ये गाड़ी कहाँ है, मतलब आपको फोन करके पता करना पड़ता था एंड देन यू हैव टू अरेंज, फिर उसकी कॉस्टिंग है, उसका एक अलग प्रूफ ऑफ बर्डन था। बट ये स्मार्टफोन और जीपीएस बेस्ड इंटेलिजेंस ने, जियो पार्शियल इंटेलिजेंस ने ये पॉसिबल कर दिया कि नियर रियल टाइम का है। वैसे ही जोमेटो को भी देखिए, जोमेटो में इससे पहले क्या था कि आपको रेस्टोरेंट का एड्रेस पता था, बट आपको बुक करना पड़ता था, टेबल बुक करना पड़ता था। लेकिन आज के डेट में क्या हो गया कि आपको भूख लगी है और किस होटल में कितना खाना बचा है वो इंटेलिजेंस दे रही है, और वो कितनी दूरी पे है। इसी तरीके से खान का एक एक बिचरा कहाँ पे है, क्या उसकी अभी बिहेवियर है, कितनी उसकी ग्रोथ होगी, ये ड्रोन आपको बताने वाला है। सो प्रिसीजन फार्मिंग इज ऑल अबाउट कलेक्टिंग द डेटा, एंड इसके दो बड़े फायदे हैं। फर्स्ट, जो एनाटॉमी ऑफ द प्लांट बताओ, डिजीज रिलेटेड बातें करो, क्रॉप हेल्थ बातें बताओ। दूसरा, मार्केटिंग इम्पैक्ट। अभी टमाटर का रेट बहुत ज्यादा जब हो गया था, फिर अचानक से गिरा। क्यों? क्योंकि कंजम्पशन को पता ही नहीं है कि कितना टमाटर हो रहा है। तो ये जियो पार्शियल इंटेलिजेंस डेटा, सपोज करो मैंने आपके पूरे भारत को आज के डेट में मैप कर लिया। अब किसी भी प्लॉट में क्या हो रहा है, मैप देश से आप स्टेट में जाओगे, स्टेट से आप डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जाओगे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट से आप गांव में जाओगे, गांव में उस प्लॉट में कितना क्रॉप आ रहा है, और हर 10वें दिन पे हमारी ड्रोन फ्लाई कर रही है और हम आपको बता रहे हैं यार इस बार तो टमाटर अगले 3 महीने में जब पकेगी तो यहाँ इस एरिया में टमाटर का कंजम्पशन कम होगा, या ये फलानी बीमारी आ गई। तो ये डायरेक्टली इंपैक्ट जो है वो प्राइसिंग पे करेगा। डायरेक्टली इंपैक्ट जो है, जैसे आप लोगों ने जब से जीरो था अप स्टॉक्स ग्रोथ यूज करना स्टार्ट किया है, नए यूजर आए हैं, नए इन्वेस्टर आए हैं, हमारी इकोनॉमी की रीच बढ़ गई है। सबसे बड़ा एग्जांपल यूपीआई का देखो। यूपीआई ने क्या किया कि जो ट्रांजैक्शन पहले भी हो रहे थे उसकी काउंटिंग करनी शुरू कर दी। मतलब हमने जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन किया उसकी अकाउंटेबिलिटी रखने शुरू कर दी। इससे हमारी इम्पैक्ट पे, हमारी इकोनॉमिकल इम्पैक्ट पे भी चीजें बढ़ी और हमारा ईज ऑफ बिजनेस भी हो गया, ईज ऑफ व्हाटएवर हम एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं। ऐसे ही आप सोचो कि नेक्स्ट रिवॉल्यूशन वी आर ब्रिंगिंग विद दिस एग्रीकल्चर थिंग्स, वेयर एक एक धान का बिचरा, एक एक पौधा, एक एक ऑर्किड, एवरीथिंग इज डिजिटल। मींस व्हाटएवर इज ग्रोइंग, इट्स बीइंग विजिबल, एंड इसके इस डेटा का विजुअलाइजेशन अलग अलग स्टेक होल्डर के लिए अलग अलग चीजें है। बहुत सारी चीजें टेक्निकल है, आई विल नॉट गो इन डेप्थ बिकॉज यू गाइस आर ऑलरेडी इंजीनियर्स। हाउ दिस डेटा मॉडलिंग आर देयर, कैसे सैटेलाइट से कवर होगा, कैसे उस पर ड्रोन डेटा पेस्टेड होगा, कैसे ड्रोन इस पे स्केल करेगा, कैसे एआई-एमएल मॉडल ऑप्टिमाइज होगा। और अगेन ये एआई-एमएल डीप टेक लंबे लंबे चौड़े वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं, इसका लेट द इंजीनियर यूज इट। एज ए बिजनेसमैन आई एम नोइंग दैट कि यार आज मेरे को 500 केजी का अगर भिंडी खरीदना है तो वेयर इट इज पॉसिबल। धीरे धीरे क्या होगा, अब सोचो रेस्टोरेंट को कितना फायदा हुआ जोमेटो से। पहले क्या था, रेस्टोरेंट बनाते थे लेकिन उनको पता नहीं था कि मेरा कितना आज खाना बिकेगा। अब हर रेस्टोरेंट के पास एक प्रेडिक्शन इंटेलिजेंस है कि भाई इतना मेरा महीने का कंजम्पशन होता है, क्योंकि जोमेटो जो है सो सिर्फ फूड डिलीवरी नहीं कर रही है, जोमेटो एक डेटा इंटेलिजेंट कंपनी है। सो दिस इज हेल्पिंग मोर टू द रेस्टोरेंट ओनर। आपने तो बस खा लिया, आपके लिए तो ये जॉब डूइंग है। इन द सिमिलर वे फार्मर को तो एक हैप्पी कंडीशन है ही कि उसको मिलेगा कि भाई हाँ व्हाट इज वन सेकंड, फार्मर को तो ये तो उनको विजिबिलिटी मिलेगी मिलेगी, जो भी हम फायदा उनको पहुंचाने जा रहे हैं। बट सबसे बड़ा फायदा होगा एग्री इनपुट कंपनीज को, सबसे बड़ा फायदा होगा एफएमसीजी कंपनी को, जिनको माल खरीदना है। कारगिल को फायदा होगा, आईटीसी को फायदा होगा कि भाई उनके क्रॉप उनके अकॉर्डिंग हो रहे नहीं हो रहे। पीओस को फायदा होगा, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को फायदा होगा, बैंकर को फायदा होगा। आप जैसे एक सिस्टम, जैसे मेरे स्क्रीन पे भी वैशाली नाम आ रहा है। वैशाली एक इंजीनियर है, वो बैठी हुई है अपने गुड़गांव के किसी भी कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस में। अब वैशाली ने अपना एक अकाउंट बनाया और वो आसाम के एक छोटे से खेत को अडॉप्ट कर सकती है, वहां पे खेती कर सकती है, क्योंकि वो बटन दबाएगी, वहां पे अवेलेबल है मैन पावर। वहां अब वो ऑनलाइन जो है सो खाद बीज खरीद सकती है, क्योंकि उसने रीड किया है कि इस मिट्टी के लिए कौन सा चीज जो है सो अवेलेबल है। और वहां का वो लोकल फार्मर या लोकल पार्टनर जो है वो हैप्पीली इस चीज को अडॉप्ट करेगा, क्योंकि उसको एक मिनिमम बिजनेस गारंटी मिल रहा है। अब वैशाली ये क्यों कर रही है? क्योंकि उसको एक मिनिमम बिजनेस गारंटी बायर से मिल रहा है और क्रॉप इंश्योर्ड है। क्रॉप इंश्योर्ड है मतलब क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को पता है कि भाई ये जो मैप पे डेटा दिख रहा है वो रियल है, एक्चुअल वैल्यू क्या है। मतलब ये जस्ट बाय मैपिंग these things we are creating entire ecosystem. Now coming on the point, चूंकि टेक्नोलॉजी को स्केल में ले जाने पे ही अफोर्डेबल होता है। अगर मैं से आज के डेट में देखो आपको, अगर मैं ये सारी टेक्नोलॉजी 200-300 एकड़ में करूं, करोड़ों का सेटअप बनेगा। बट मैं पूरे जिले के लिए एक सेटअप बनाता हूं तो देन नाउ इट्स अफोर्डेबल। नाउ देयर वी आर लिविंग। हमारे जो ड्रोन्स हैं वो 200-300 एकड़ नहीं करते हैं, 500, 1000, 2000 एकड़ करते हैं। and drone is just a tools to collect the data. It's about the data. ड्रोन अब एक मैकेनाइजेशन वर्क भी कर रहा है. बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि यार ड्रोन आते ही ना आपकी ये स्प्रेइंग वाली लेबर कम कर देगी. बिहार, ईस्टर्न यूपी लेबर नहीं मिलते हैं. अब अभी स्प्रेइंग का सीजन आ गया, देयर इज नो लेबर, क्योंकि एक लेबर एक दिन में 1 एकड़ करेगा. ड्रोन एक दिन में 30 एकड़ करेगा. ड्रोन कम दवा का छिड़काव करेगा. ड्रोन जहां पे बीमारी रहेगी वहीं करेगा. तो इट्स वेरी स्टूपिड टू से कि यार ड्रोन आने से जॉब चले. द वे ऑफ फार्मिंग बढ़ेगा. भाई हमारा पलटन जो हम उपजा रहे हैं वो यूएस के मुताबिक, चाइना के मुताबिक बहुत कम है. ठीक है, आज फूड सरप्लस कंट्री है, बट वेरी सून अभी वॉर हो जाए, भी कोई ऐसा कंडीशन आ जाए, हमारे खाने को लाले पड़ जाएंगे. वी नीड टू इंक्रीज द कैपेसिटी ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. वी नीड टू मॉडर्नाइज आवर फार्मिंग. तो मॉडर्नाइज आवर फार्मिंग मतलब इसमें मॉडर्न लोग जुड़ेंगे, नॉट बस कि हाँ वो पुराने जो हमारे चाचा दादा बैठे हुए हैं तुम जाके उसको बता रहे हो कि भाई तू. अब मैं अपने पिताजी को बोलूं कि भैया आप गॉगल्स लगा के और बाइक लगा के और आप निंजा बाइक लगा करो, मैं कांट से. उनकी जो मतलब उनको तो समझाने में भी टफ होगा. वो बोलेंगे नहीं ये 100 लीटर पानी से मैं जिंदगी भर दवा डालते आया हूँ, तू 10 लीटर में कैसे करेगा. तो उनसे बस एक चांस मांगो कि जस्ट गिव मी 1 चांस, उतना मैं रिस्क लूं. फिर जैसे वो इम्पैक्ट देखेंगे वो आपकी बात मानेंगे. पीपल सी इम्पैक्ट. हाउ इंडियन पीपल अडॉप्टेड यूपीआई. भाई भारत में पैसे के लोग है ना, वो जो बटके में जो पैसे रखते थे लोग, 4 रुपए 5 रुपए 10 रुपए, कैसे जब उन्होंने फेथ किया यूपीआई पे, तो एवरी इंडियन पीपल आर वेरी ओपन टू अडॉप्ट एनी टेक्नोलॉजी. ओके, नाउ कमिंग ऑन लॉट्स सी बारे बहुत सारी टेक्निकल चीजें. आई वॉन्ट गो इन टू मच डिटेल. कैसे डेटा कलेक्शन करते हैं, कैसे फील्ड सर्वे करते हैं. आई विल जस्ट कम टू क्वेश्चंस. थैंक यू. यू कैन नाउ आस्क मी एनी क्वेश्चंस. आप पूछ सकते हो अपने क्वेश्चंस. मेरी प्रेजेंटेशन डन. मैं बहुत ज्यादा बोर नहीं करूंगा. आई विल आंसर द क्वेश्चंस ऑफ यू गाइस.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I'll do.
Sir, actually, I want to know about this technology in reference to fruit crops, sir. Because, sir, I belong to Himalayan region of Himachal Pradesh of India, sir. So I want to know its relevance in fruit crops, sir, majorly in apple fruit, sir.
Okay.
That how drones will help farmers and, sir, how this technology will be implemented at a ground level, sir.
बहुत बढ़िया. एक्चुअली जो मैम जब इंट्रोडक्शन बड़ा सा मेरा दे रहे थे तो उसमें एक आपको बताया गया होगा कि मैंने नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हिली रीजन में वैक्सीन डिलीवरी किया था. The why this actually that drone was supposed to fly in the hilly area for the crop, for the spring. आपको 2 type of difficulties you are also facing. जैसे एप्पल में मैंने पोमीग्रेनेट में एक AML मॉडल डेवलप किया है कि आपको अर्ली स्टेज में डिजीज डिटेक्शन हो जाए एंड आपका टेरेन पे मतलब बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है स्प्रेइंग करना, गोइंग टू द crop to crop. So these drones now drones are much advanced. It will maintain a crop height and जैसे आपका ट्रेन है वैसे ही वो स्प्रे करेगा. नाउ द केमिकल फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल डेफिनेटली जो मैनुअल आप लेबर से करते हो उससे ज्यादा एफिशिएंट आपका ड्रोन मिलेगा. दूसरी AIML और जो भी चीजें टेक्नोलॉजी आपने देखा ड्रोन से, you will be able to predict the disease. Like in the tea right now what we did, एक टी मॉस्किटो बग होता है. अभी ये रीजन है नीलगिरी रीजन में 200 करोड़ का क्रॉप लॉस हुआ है क्योंकि ये ऑर्किड वाले जो क्रॉप है, ये जो कैश क्रॉप है, उसमें क्या है कि जब कोई बीमारी आती है आपको नेकेड आई से विजिबल नहीं होगी. 3 दिन 4 दिन पहले अगर आप उसको डिटेक्ट कर लेते हो, इससे पहले कि वो स्प्रेड हो, क्योंकि आपके एप्पल को स्काउटिंग भी बहुत ज्यादा टफ है, आप कैसे उसमें जाओगे. तो दिस ड्रोन इज गिविंग यू एन आई to go rather than going plant to plant. You will be able to do monitoring it. अगर उसमें कुछ स्ट्रेस है, अगर उसमें कोई बैक्टीरियल अटैक या फंगल या वायरल अटैक है, वो पहले आपको डिटेक्शन देगा. नाउ उसकी जो स्प्रेइंग इकोसिस्टम है वो स्प्रेइंग में भी आपकी मदद करेगा. डेफिनेटली यू विल यूज लेस केमिकल. जो आप नीचे से भी स्प्रे कर रहे हो उसका इम्पैक्ट और ऊपर से जो नीचे आएगा उसका इम्पैक्ट विल बी वेरी डिफरेंट. एंड that's why the orchid crops will be much more benefited from this drone technology.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, as you told, like a drone is helpful for us. Sir, in many of cases, like some villages is there is no such technology are there. So how can the farmers utilize this technique, sir?
ओके बहुत बढ़िया क्वेश्चन। देखिए चीजों को समय लगेगा। ट्रैक्टर भी जब आया था 1950s वगैरह में, टाइम लगा रीच होने में। ड्रोन एक नॉर्मल फार्मर, इंडियन फार्मर डायरेक्टली परचेज नहीं कर सकता अंटिल अनलेस वो बहुत प्रोग्रेसिव फार्मर नहीं है, या जैसे वो और दूसरों को रेंट करने के ख्याल से नहीं है। दैट्स व्हाई वी आर ब्रिंगिंग ए ड्रोन सेंटर काइंड ऑफ थिंग। हम एक सेंटर बना रहे हैं, वन पॉइंट कॉन्टेक्ट। मेनी कंपनीज आर ट्राइंग नाउ कि एक हब रहेगा और वहां से आप बटन दबाओगे और ड्रोन आ जाएगा। बाय द वे, आप किस स्टेट से बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ सर,
कौन सा स्टेट आपका? स्टेट डिस्ट्रिक्ट कौन सा है?
राजस्थान सर, राजस्थान।
ओके, बहुत जल्दी कंपनियां आ रही हैं, सरकार भी प्रमोट कर रही है, इसको भी ड्रोन्स पहुंचा रही है, और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने भी अनाउंस किया है कि 15,000 महिलाओं को ड्रोन दी जाएगी। तो इट्स मैटर ऑफ 2 to 3 years, ड्रोन विल बी ओमनीप्रेजेंट, हर जगह आपको मिल जाएगा। जैसे आज के डेट में ट्रैक्टर आपको नहीं खोजना पड़ता है, लेकिन आज से 25-50 साल पहले ट्रैक्टर भी, हार्वेस्टर भी बड़ी चीजें होती थी, वैसे ड्रोन है। बट दिस इज कमिंग वेरी सून टू नियर बाय। आपके गाँव, आपके पंचायत लेवल पे होगी, मुनादी होगी, लोग आएंगे, फिर आप बटन दबाओ, फोन करो, ड्रोन वाले पहुंच के स्प्रे कर देंगे, आपके पास अवेलेबल हो जाएगा। आई थिंक राजेंद्र कृष्ण प्रसाद जी का एक क्वेश्चन है, हाउ एंड व्हेन ए लेमैन कैन ऑपरेट ड्रोन्स फॉर द वेरी सेल। यही चीज मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ राजेंद्र भाई, कि फार्मर को मत बताओ कि तू ऑपरेट कर। ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी को ट्रैक्टर की तरह मत देखो। ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी एक ट्रेंड पायलट चलाएगा, जो एक गांव में रहेगा, एक पंचायत लेवल पे रहेगा, वो आप जैसे सैकड़ों फार्मर को स्प्रे करेगा। ड्रोन एज ए सर्विसेज फार्मर हायर करे इज बेटर। अब हर घर में आप ड्रोन डाल दोगे, इट्स यूजलेस। इट्स समथिंग कि आपको अगर टेलीफोन में आपको देखो तो आपको सिम खरीदना चाहिए, ना कि हर घर में टावर लगा लेना चाहिए। याद है एक बीएसएनएल के टाइम में जब हम एक छोटा छोटा टावर लोग हर घर पे लगाते थे, जिसको WLL बोला करते थे, वो दैट इज ए वेरी डिफरेंट मैकेनिज्म फॉर टू रन द बिजनेस। ए नॉर्मल फार्मर, हाँ, उसमें से उस गांव में, उस पंचायत में कोई प्रोग्रेसिव लड़का है, कोई टेक्नो क्रेप्स लड़का है, उसको हम ट्रेंड कर देंगे एंड वो सारे लोगों को स्प्रे करेगा। फार्मर जस्ट नीड टू कि जैसे वो लेबर बुलाता है वैसे हम ड्रोन बुलाएगा, उसको स्प्रे करके चला जाएगा। दैट्स माय आंसर टू यू।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
हाँ बच्चा।
सर जैसे जो एक सीड इंडस्ट्रीज होती हैं, वहां पर एक मशीन होती है कलर सेपरेटिंग मशीन, जो क्या करती है, जिसमें हम कलर दिखाते हैं उस मशीन को सीड्स का, वो उसके बेसिस पे सेपरेशन करती है। लाइक अगर रेड दिखाया है तो जितने भी रेड कलर के सीड्स हैं वो अलग, और बाकी सारे सीड्स अलग हो जाएंगे। सर ऐसी कोई टेक्निक, मतलब इसी तरीके से क्या सर ड्रोन्स के उस पे भी काम हो सकता है? लाइक अगर हम ड्रोन को फार्म की एक इमेज दिखा रहे हैं, तो जितनी इमेज में हमें वर्क चाहिए वो उतनी इमेज को कैप्चर करके बाकी जितनी भी एक्स्ट्रा चीजें उस फार्म में आ रही हैं वो उसको कैप्चर ना करे, ताकि जो लोगों को एक डर रहता है प्राइवेसी इश्यूज का ये ड्रोन्स की वजह से, कि ये लोग सब कुछ, ये ड्रोन्स जो हैं ये सब कैप्चर कर लेते हैं, प्राइवेसी इन्वेड होती है, इस तरीके की भी टेक्नोलॉजी है सर ड्रोन्स में अवेलेबल?
ओके, प्राइवेसी की मैं जहां तक बता रहा हूँ, फील्ड जो होता है ना, फील्ड में जो क्रॉप होता है वो पब्लिक आई में ऑलरेडी डिस्क्लोज है, तो वो कोई लॉ नहीं वायलेट कर रहा है। लेट मी बी वेरी फ्रैंक, खेत में किसके उग रहा है और आप जो देख रहे हो ये, हाँ डेफिनेटली ड्रोन इज फ्लाइंग ऑन ए विलेज एंड ऑल, दैट इज ए रेस्ट्रिक्टेड एरिया, बट या विद कंसेंट ऑफ फार्मर, विद कंसेंट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, कि भाई वो ग्रीन जोन है, वी कैन फ्लाई डेफिनेटली। वो जो ऑनर का डेटा है वो वी शुड नॉट डिस्क्लोज टू दैट पर्सन। अब आते हैं कि ये प्राइवेसी मैंने क्लियर की। दूसरी आते हैं ड्रोन। तो ड्रोन में 3 चीजें होती है, जैसे मैं बोला, इमेज एनालिसिस, सेंसर एनालिसिस एंड स्पेक्ट्रल एनालिसिस। इमेज नॉर्मल, यस, क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ इमेज है। जैसे आप लोग बताते हो कि चौड़ी पत्ती अलग होता है, संकड़ी पत्ती अलग होता है। देखो ड्रोन को दिमाग नहीं है, ड्रोन ने डेटा लिया और उस डेटा में फिर हमारे पीछे बैकएंड से दिमाग लगता है कि भाई उसको पहली बार बताना होता है कि क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ द क्रॉप्स क्या है। जैसे अब वो आपको क्रॉप का हाइट बताता है। इफ सपोज देयर आर 2 क्रॉप, तो देयर आर सेंसर, जैसे अब लीडार सेंसर की मैं बात करूं तो वो, या थर्मल सेंसर की बात करूं तो थर्मल सेंसर ना थर्मल सिग्नेचर डिफरेंस दिखाता है। डेफिनेटली जो मिट्टी का जो तापमान होगा और जो एटमॉस्फेरिक टेम्परेचर होगा उसमें डिफरेंसेज होगा, तो उस डिफरेंसेज से अब आपको दिमाग बुद्धि लगानी है, पीछे साइंटिस्ट को दिमाग लगाना है कि इसका मतलब क्या हुआ। अभी वो टोटल बायोमास कैलकुलेशन बताता है। टोटल बायोमास में अब ड्रोन को ये नहीं पता ना कि आम है, ये लीची है। अब टोटल बायोमास कैलकुलेशन से आपको एक थ्रेशोल्ड पे पहुंचना पड़ेगा कि यार इसका ये कैनोपी है, इसका ये हाइट है, तो इसका मतलब ये क्रॉप हुआ। और आप इसको वैलिडेट कैसे करोगे? बाय सीइंग द एक्चुअल आरजीबी पिक्चर। तो वन टाइम जब आप इस चीज, अब इसी दिशा में काम हो रही है, देयर विल बी ए टाइम जब ड्रोन उड़ेगा और बता देगा कि ये धान है, बाकी रेस्ट वाला जो है वो वीड है या अदर क्रॉप है, उसमें भी बहुत समय लगेगा, 4 साल 5 साल अभी लगेगा, बिकॉज डेटा मॉडलिंग ऑन ईच क्रॉप इज वेरी टाइम। जैसे अपन लोग ऐसे 8-10 साल पहले जब गूगल यूज करते थे या गूगल को कुछ बोलते थे तो ट्रांसलेट कुछ और करता था, आज के डेट में कितना एक्यूरेट कर रहा है, वॉइस कमांड कितना बेटर ले रहा है, क्योंकि उसने हमारे लैंग्वेज को पहले सीखा है। इसी तरीके से जब डेटा कलेक्टेड होगा, अब जैसे मैं बताता हूँ कि दो टाइप की स्टडी करती है ड्रोन। व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इनसाइड द प्लांट, जैसे आप देखोगे स्पेक्ट्रल एनालिसिस जो है, मल्टी स्पेक्ट्रल थिंग, वो काम करता है कि क्लोरोफिल जो है वो बन रहा है या नहीं बन रहा है, सनलाइट कितना रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहा है। जो भी रिमोट सेंसिंग के आप एक्सपर्ट होंगे वो आपको बता देंगे कि -1 से +1 के बीच में आएगा, अगर वो प्लस है तो इसका मतलब वो प्लांट हेल्दी है, -1 की तरफ है तो प्लांट पौधे कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, इसलिए वो स्ट्रेस का सिग्नेचर दे रहा है। बट उस स्ट्रेस का मतलब क्या हुआ, ये स्ट्रेस बायोटिक है या एबायोटिक है, वो पहले देखना होगा। तो हम देखते हैं यार कल कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है, हेलस्टॉर्म तो नहीं हुआ है, या कोई जानवर तो नहीं चढ़ गया, मतलब ये हेलस्टॉर्म वगैरह है वो एबायोटिक हो गया। अगर बायोटिक है तो इसको मोबाइल इमेजरी से वेरीफाइड करना पड़ता है कि फंगल है कि बैक्टीरियल है, एंड इसमें कौन सा वीट लगा हुआ है। तो अभी आज के डेट में जो टेक्नोलॉजी मैच्योर है वो बस स्ट्रेस बताती है ड्रोन आपको, फिर उसके बाद जाके आपको वैलिडेट करना पड़ता है कि ये स्ट्रेस किस चीज का था, बायोटिक या एबायोटिक, फिर उसको आप मल्टीपल टाइम इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हो। सो you are then आपका जो क्वेश्चन था कि यस ड्रोन इज एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई इन टर्म्स ऑफ फिजियोलॉजिकल स्ट्रक्चर, कलर भी उसमें है, बट जब कलर की बात आती है तो मल्टी स्पेक्ट्रल में एनडीवीआई ओएसवीआई उसके कलर स्पेक्ट्रम बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है जब वो रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ द प्लांट आते हैं। एक होता है जो विजुअल कलर आप देखते हो, मतलब जैसे आप फोटो खींचे तो आपको पत्ता थोड़ा पीला नजर आने लगा क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी प्लांट शो कर रहा है, तो वो तो नॉर्मल आप आंख से भी देखोगे यार ये पौधा जो है इसमें कुछ व्हाइट लगा है, कुछ एफिड्स है, तो इसमें ये तो आप अपनी आंख से देख रहे हो। बट स्पेक्ट्रल एनालिसिस में आपकी नेकेड आई उसको नहीं देख रही है, बट आपको वो सिग्नेचर बता रहा है कि देयर इज प्रॉब्लम, मतलब वो 1-2 दिन के बाद आपको विजिबल होगा, इससे पहले पता चल रही है। और अगर कोई क्रॉप है उसमें 2 दिन पहले ये पता चल जाए, जैसे आप सिंपल एग्जांपल बताओ कि आपको मेरा चेहरा देखने के भी अगर मैं उदास हूं, मेरा कुछ थका थका लग रहा है तो आप गेस कर सकते हो सर की तबीयत खराब है, बट द मोमेंट आपने थर्मामीटर लगाया तो आपको पता चल गया कि यार इनका फीवर है। नाउ द प्रॉब्लम इज इंडस्ट्री राइट नाउ व्हाट फेसिंग कि 100 डिग्री को बुखार कहेंगे, 102 डिग्री को ज्यादा बुखार करेंगे, 99 को बुखार नहीं कहेंगे। ये पूरी की पूरी जो रिमोट सेंसिंग विद एग्रीकल्चर है ना, इस थ्रेशोल्ड पे काम हो रहा है कि यार इस सिग्नेचर को, अगर पोटैटो में ये सिग्नेचर है इसका मतलब ये डिजीज है, इस पे बहुत काम चल रही है, डेटा वैलिडेशन हो रहा है। देयर विल बी अ टाइम जब ड्रोन आपको, जिसके पीछे हम लोग भी काम कर रहे हैं कि उड़ा और हम आपको बता दिए, और इसके पीछे क्लासिफिकेशंस भी होंगे, डेफिनेटली कलर क्लासिफिकेशन भी होंगे, स्पेक्ट्रल सिग्नेचर भी होंगे। उसके बाद सॉइल के, अब मान लो कि एक पार्टिकुलर क्रॉप एक सॉइल में एक टेम्परेचर में डिफरेंट बिहेव करता है, लाइक वही सीड वही क्रॉप राजस्थान में डिफरेंट बिहेव करेगा, वही सीड वही क्रॉप बिहार में डिफरेंट बिहेव करेगा। इस दोनों के बिहेवियर एनालिसिस को बहुत ही माइन्यूट लेवल की बात मैं कर रहा हूँ, जब मैं प्रीसीजन फार्मिंग की बात कर रहा हूँ बहुत ही माइन्यूट लेवल की स्टडी की बात कर रहा हूँ। तो नाउ इन दैट डायरेक्शन we are working some agriculture, like ICR is promoting all that. So for the drones, my answer is yes, drone is able to identify the color spectrum in a more way, not just जैसे आपने बताया कि लाल अलग पीला अलग कलर, yes drone is able to do that but in more minute. Over to you.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक है, तो I think anybody has more question?
So yes, there is a question from chat box. Sure. Can drones capture the information on soil health or only about the diseases and abiotic stresses?
देखो सेंसर या आप देखो रिमोट सेंसिंग जो बोलते हो, डेटा आ जाता है एनपीके का, बट वो एक्यूरेट नहीं होता है। जैसे थर्मल सिग्नेचर से आप लेते हो ना कि देयर आर, जब सैटेलाइट से भी थोड़ा एनपीके का आइडिया आ जाता है, बट सैटेलाइट की एक्यूरेसी बिल्कुल कम है। आपको कांटेक्ट एंड नॉन कांटेक्ट के डेटा को लेके, जैसे सेंसर आप मान लो कि आप जैसे सॉइल को, मैं किस सॉइल के डेटा को सबसे ज्यादा वैलिड मानोगे, जो एक्चुअली आपने 5 सैंपल लिया है और उसको कलेक्ट करके जो आपने लैब से निकाला, दैट इज द मोर एक्यूरेट। बाकी जो है सो गेस किया जा रहा है क्योंकि वो नॉन कांटेक्ट, तो सैटेलाइट से बेटर है, बट अगेन इट्स नॉट वेरी मच रिलायबल। टिल नाउ आई हैवंट सीन द एनी केस जो सॉइल के टेम्परेचर को आपको बता देगा, आपके एलिवेशन को बहुत अच्छे से बताता है कि मीन्स अगर आपको अभी जैसे क्या होता है कि ईस्ट टू वेस्ट है एलिवेशन, और किसान क्या करता है पानी उधर से डालते हैं क्योंकि वो माइन्यूट लेवल पे नहीं स्टडी करता है। लेकिन जैसे ही आप ड्रोन से एक बार मैप कर लेते हो, DTM DSM मॉडल आ जाता है, तो आपको पता है यार अगर मैं इस साइड से पानी पटाऊंगा और इधर से इससे नहीं वेस्ट से करूंगा तो दैट विल हेल्प यू। तो सॉइल के जो बाहरी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है वो तो इजीली वो तो बहुत एक्यूरेट तरीके से ड्रोन करती है, बट व्हाट इज जो माइक्रो एंड मैक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट्स हैं वो बहुत ही एक्यूरेटली अभी भी ड्रोन नहीं बता रहा है। यू कैन गेस, वो गेस के मुताबिक चलता है। अगेन वो नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट है, तो नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट में व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन इनसाइड ऑफ दैट थिंग इज स्टिल लॉट्स ऑफ रिसर्च इज हैपनिंग।
Okay, sir. Another participant is asking, how are drones being utilized in modern agriculture to enhance efficiency and productivity?
यार मेरे से ना ये वो वाला क्वेश्चन मत पूछो। आई थिंक बहुत सारे सेशन में आप सारे लोग विद्वान लोग हो, ऐसे क्वेश्चन पता रहे हो जैसे कोई एग्जाम है। एकदम सीधे लैंग्वेज में पूछो कि भाई मॉडर्न एग्रीकल्चर क्या मतलब, एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग मॉडर्नाइज्ड। आज के डेट में 50 साल पहले लोग ट्रैक्टर नहीं यूज कर रहे थे, अब ट्रैक्टर यूज कर रहे हैं। हमें स्वामीनाथन ने पूरा ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन ला दिया। अब हो क्या रही है ना, हम हेल्थ कॉन्शियस हो रहे हैं, अब हम मोर कॉन्शियस, यार ये ऑर्गेनिक है या नहीं है, बिकॉज अब हमारा पेट भरा हुआ है। नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट न्यूट्रिशन। बहुत ही सैड वाली बात है कि इतना बड़ा प्रोडक्शन हम कर रहे हैं, सरकार सबसे बड़ा पाया है, बट न्यूट्रिएंट्स वैल्यू बहुत कम आ रही है, राइट। अब आप लोग भी देखोगे यार ठीक है फूड सरप्लस है, खाना भी उजाले रहे हैं, लेकिन फिर भी हमारी फूड की क्वालिटी बेटर नहीं है। सो नाउ ड्रोन्स इन द लाइक मॉडर्न फार्मिंग। व्हाट मॉडर्न फार्मिंग? जब ये मैं अगेन प्रिसीजन फार्मिंग, ये 1 एकड़ 2 एकड़ में जो हम शौक से कर रहे हैं, ये रिसर्च तो ICR कर रही है, बड़े बड़े लोग कर रहे हैं, बड़ी चीजें बड़ी टॉक्स होती है, बट कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी ना तब मार्वेल करती है जब एक छोटा सा किसान जिसके पास खेत नहीं भी है वो इस चीज को अडॉप्ट करे। UPI टेक्नोलॉजी एक बहुत ही आम आदमी के द्वारा अडॉप्ट किया गया। तो ये जिस प्रिसीजन फार्मिंग का इंपैक्ट जब सामने वाले को होने लगे, जैसे अब ड्रोन के बारे में, जैसे मैं अपने बताऊं, मैं 4-5 सालों से ड्रोन स्प्रे करता हूँ, तो आई एम सेइंग कि यार छोटे जो फार्मर आते हैं ना, जिनके पास आधा एकड़ जमीन है, वो भी बुक कर ले रहे हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि उनको लगता है यार 200-250 रुपये मेरे को पड़ेंगे, और हम लोग इसलिए भी कर दे रहे हैं क्योंकि उस एरिया में हमारा ड्रोन चल रहा है, तो चलो सामने वाले को मैं दे दूं। तो उसने पहले इसको अडॉप्ट किया प्रोग्रेसिव फार्मर ने, जिसने कॉस्ट ज्यादा बेयर किया, उनके पास लैंड साइज ज्यादा था, या वो रिसर्च माइंडेड थे। अब ये धीरे धीरे टेक्नोलॉजी इज बीइंग अडॉप्टेड बाय ऑलमोस्ट एवरीवन इन द इकोसिस्टम। सो ड्रोन इज डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू चेंज द इकोसिस्टम एंटायरली। जैसे कि स्मार्टफोन ने GPS, मैंने क्या बताया, जियोस्पेशियल इंटेलिजेंस कैसे आता है, आपको कैसे पता चला कि गाड़ी वही है और आदमी ही है, क्योंकि 2 स्मार्टफोन के GPS लोकेशन से इंटरेक्ट करती है। वैसे ही ड्रोन आपके पूरे खेत को आपके मोबाइल में ला देगी, आपको पता चलता रहेगा, आपको नोटिफिकेशन आता रहेगा कि यार आज खेत में ये हुआ, अरे आज खेत में मेरा ये इम्पैक्ट नजर आ रहा है। लाइक आज से कुछ सालों पहले आपने फेसबुक पे एक गेम देखा होगा फार्म विले, तो फार्म विले अब वर्चुअल से रियल हो चुका है। एंड यू विल बी हैप्पी टू डिस्कस दीज थिंग्स इन योर ड्राइंग रूम कि यार आज मेरे खेत में इस गांव में, अभी क्या होता है फोन करके पूछना होता है, या आप पूछते भी नहीं होंगे, आपके घर के फादर या आपके जो भी अंकल वगैरह होंगे वो खेती होंगे, आप खेती में एक्टिवली पार्टिसिपेट करोगे। हो सकता है उस फूड को खुद भी कंज्यूम करोगे या आप उसको सेल करवाओगे, जो छोटे क्वांटिटी में होंगे वो वहीं में लोकल कंज्यूम हो जाएंगे। ये भी हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे अवेलेबल है। तो ड्रोन इज गिविंग इंटेलिजेंस इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेटा अवेलेबल कि यार ये फूड यहाँ पे अवेलेबल है। अभी क्या है, ये डेटा नहीं है, कटनी माल जब कटता है तब मंडी में आता है, तब लोगों को पता चलता है आज इतना प्रोडक्शन होगा। आज अभी आप सब्जी ले आने जाते हो ना, आपको पता नहीं है कि कितना सब्जी मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, एक पर्टिकुलर सब्जी, लेकिन कुछ दिनों में ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी से ऐसा होगा कि आपको मोबाइल ऐप पे दिखता रहेगा कि फलाने किसान ने अगर ये लगाया है, तो आप चाहो तो उसके पकने पे डायरेक्टली ऑर्डर करके तोड़ के मंगवा सकते हो। सो यस, ड्रोन विल हेल्प the way smartphone revolutionized this entire e-commerce activity on the main industry, चाहे आप उसे टैक्सी बुकिंग दो, ट्रैवल देखो, होटल देखो, वैसे ही ये ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी जब मास में डेटा कलेक्ट करेगा, तो एक तो ये जो ट्रांजेक्शन हो रहा है उसको बेटर कर देगा। दूसरी, ड्रोन जब भी बात करें ना, तो 2 ड्रोन अलग अलग चीजें, दोनों डिफरेंट चीजें। स्प्रेइंग ड्रोन की मैं जब बात करूं, वो आपके मैकेनिकल प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करता है कि यार लेबर नहीं है, उड़ेगा, एरियल जाके स्प्रे करेगा। और एक ड्रोन है जो डेटा इंटेलिजेंस का काम करता है। थोड़ा सा नोमेनक्लेचर का ये है कि दोनों को हम ड्रोन ही बोलते हैं, लेकिन दोनों 2 अलग अलग चीजें हो जाती है। सो डेफिनेटली दिस स्प्रेइंग ड्रोन आपके लेबर शॉर्टेज को कम करेगा, आपको कम दवा लेके आपको जो डायरेक्टली आपको इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है। और ये जो डेटा कलेक्शंस वाली एक्टिविटी है, वो लॉन्ग टर्म में सरकार को मदद करेगी, डिसीजन लेने में कि सच में फार्मिंग हो रही है नहीं हो रही है। बैंकिंग इंश्योरेंस को मदद करेगी, एग्रीकेमिकल कंपनीज को मदद करेगी, यार इस एरिया में इतना क्रॉप उगा है, मेरे को कौन सा दवा बेचना चाहिए नहीं बेचना चाहिए। रिसर्च सीड कंपनी को रिसर्च करने में मिलेगी क्योंकि उनको अब बेटर डेटा अवेलेबल हो रहा है। एफएमसीजी कंपनी को प्रोक्योरमेंट में मदद मिलेगी, एफपीओज एंड सारे इंस्टीट्यूशन को मदद मिलेगी। ओवर टू यू। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. Participants are urged to ask questions if they have any.
Yes, sir. Hello.
जी मुकेश। यस यस
जी सर, माय क्वेश्चन है अबाउट सर, हम ड्रोन्स को सर फॉर्म से हम इमेज देख ही रहे सर, इससे हम सर पोस्ट पेस्ट का लॉसेस पता कर सकते हैं सर क्या, कि यस यहाँ पे बर्ड्स हैं तो उनको हम आइडेंटिफाइड करें, उससे कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। जैसे हिमाचल में मंकीज प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, राजस्थान में भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, नीलगाय का प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, ये सर लॉसेस आइडेंटिफाइड कर सकते हैं।
यस मैं एक केस स्टडी पे काम किया था। छत्तीसगढ़ में ना हाथी आके नुकसान कर देता था, राइट?
यस
ये डेफिनेटली ड्रोन से तो आप असेसमेंट कर सकते हो, गवर्नमेंट असेस करती है क्योंकि उनको कंपनसेट करना होता है। तो अभी तक कोई रोकने का उपाय नहीं है। जैसे लोग मुझे बोलते हैं सर ड्रोन भगा देगा क्या हाथी को, वो नहीं है, बट क्या लॉस कर रहा है या आप उसको देख सकते हो। दूसरा जो बग्स होते हैं, जैसे मॉस्किटो बग हम लोग टी में कर रहे हैं, तो नेकेड आई से वो विजिबल नहीं होता। और उस मॉस्किटो और ये जितने भी इंसेक्ट्स है या पेस्ट वगैरह में प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना, क्यों अगर आप उसे 2 से 3 दिन में अगर नहीं वहीं पे स्प्रे करके किल किए ना, तो अगले दिन वो मतलब एक्सपोनेंशियली बढ़ता है। तो वो आप तुरंत उसी को, अगर मान लो कि एक प्लॉट के एक छोटे से एरिया में अगर पेस्ट का इंसर्शन हो चुका है, तो उसी वक्त आप अगले, क्योंकि तुरंत आपको अलर्ट दिखा 24 घंटे में, उसी को खत्म कर दो तो अगले भी खेत में नहीं जाएगा। So that's 2 advantage drone is giving you. Early stages warning system.
थैंक यू सर।
ठीक है everyone, thank you.
Thank
Sir,
you so
good
much, sir.
Yes, yes.
There is another question, sir.
Actually, I had a question, ma'am. अभी सर ये ड्रोन एप्लीकेशन जो यूज करते ना, क्या हमें इससे हाई सीटेड लेना पड़ेगा या फिर लो सीटेड?
Sorry, I couldn't understand your question.
सर अभी जो ड्रोन एप्लीकेशन से जो हम केमिकल्स हो या फिर सीड्स अप्लाई करते ना, तो इसमें हाई रेट यूज करना पड़ेगा क्या?
नहीं, पहले एक सबसे पहले तो सीड अभी बहुत कम अप्लाई हो रहा है स्प्रेडर के थ्रू। अभी जो सीड अब स्प्रेइंग में क्या, अब स्प्रेइंग मैकेनिज्म में आप हाई स्पीड रेट बता रहे हो क्या? ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है। नॉर्मल जो आप स्प्रे मैनुअल यूज करते हो इसमें और इसमें बस अंतर ये है कि ये इसमें भी मतलब 3 टाइप ऑफ स्प्रेइंग। अब कितने माइक्रोन का आप स्प्रेइंग वो डालना चाहते हो, नाउ अगेन केमिकल फॉर्मूलाज, और जो उसमें कितना वाटर मॉलिक्यूल डालना। जैसे यूजुअली आप मैनुअल करते हो तो उसमें 100 लीटर पानी और 1 लीटर डाल के आप करते हो, तो इसमें 1/10 यूज करते हो। क्यों? क्योंकि इसका जो स्प्रेइंग जो स्पीड है या जो केमिकल को पहुंचना चाहिए स्पॉट पे, वो एरियल प्रेशर के थ्रू ज्यादा बेटर तरीके से पहुंचता है। अब इसमें एक ज्ञानबाजी लोग करेगा कि भाई वातावरण में ज्यादा हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि आप कम केमिकल यूज कर रहे हो। कम केमिकल यूज ज्यादा है लेकिन इम्पैक्ट ज्यादा क्यों है? क्योंकि मैंने पहले ही बताया, राइट नाउ आप यूनिफॉर्मली पूरे दवा डालते हो। जहां पे बीमारी है, irrespective of there is disease or no disease, you put the chemical over there. But with the drones, wherever the disease are, you will spray more. Where there is no disease, you will not spray. आपके सर में यहाँ पे घाव है तो यहाँ दवा डालोगे ना, पूरे शरीर पे क्यों डालोगे? So similar, this concept is revolutionizing the agriculture, this spraying ecosystem. Yes.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I have a question regarding a lifespan of the drones. In the sense, a drone, if it is useful, or if it can be used for 2 to 3 years, what is the lifespan of a drone, and whether it can be recycled into any other form, because it will lead to electronic waste, right? Later, that's why.
Okay, good question. देखो ड्रोन, आप ना एक मोबाइल को जैसे लो कि एक 10,000 का भी मोबाइल आता है और 1 लाख रुपए का भी मोबाइल आता है। इन द सिमिलर वे व्हाट हैपेंस ना, ड्रोन के जो 80% बॉडी होते हैं ना, उसका वैल्यू 20% ही है। मेन है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इनसाइड। तो सबसे बड़ा जो, और दूसरा है बैटरी। सबसे बड़ा स्प्रेइंग ड्रोन की बात करूं, यहाँ पे बैटरी बहुत कंज्यूम होती है। तो वो डेफिनेटली एक वेस्ट होता है। एक बैटरी से जैसे आप 400 एकड़ से ज्यादा नहीं कर सकते, मतलब, और एक साथ आपको 3 बैटरी रखना पड़ता है क्योंकि बैटरी चार्जिंग साइकिल भी है, ये एक डिफिकल्टीज है। दूसरा क्या है कि ड्रोन, अब आप 4 लाख रुपए का ड्रोन कर दोगे, इसकी डेली कैपेसिटी होगी 20 एकड़ करने की, क्योंकि उससे ज्यादा आप कर ही नहीं सकते। दूसरी क्या है,
तुमको डर है तो वैसे मुझे चप्पल नहीं, अभी तुम गिर जाते हो तो चप्पल पहन के गिर लो।
ओके, सो ड्रोन यूजुअली 500 साइकिल से, अब इसे ईयर में मत जोड़ो क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स है, ये कंज्यूम, ये बहुत ज्यादा डेप्रिशिएट नहीं, इसमें कोई जंग वंग नहीं लगती है, बट 500 लैंडिंग से 2000 लैंडिंग तक भी जाती है यूजुअली। जो अभी मार्केट में इंडिया में टाइप सर्टिफाइड ड्रोन्स है, वो आप समझो कि आराम से 1000 लैंडिंग कर लेंगे। 1000 लैंडिंग मतलब 2 से 3000 एकड़ वो कर लेंगे। अगेन डिपेंड्स ऑन इसकी रेगुलर मेंटेनेंस पे, जितनी बार आप स्प्रे करते हो उसकी कुछ बेसिक मेंटेनेंस होती है। आप मोटर को क्लीन कर रहे हो कि नहीं कर रहे हो, टैंक को क्लीन कर रहे हो कि नहीं कर रहे हो, प्रॉपरली चला रहे हो कि नहीं चला रहे हो। तो जैसे गाड़ी में होता है कि कोई आदमी 20,000 किलोमीटर भी चलाता है, कोई 1 लाख किलोमीटर भी चलाता है, तो हाउ यू आर ड्राइविंग योर कार इज ऑल्सो मेकिंग थिंग्स, कि उसका फ्यूल का रेशियो क्या है। इसी तरीके से ड्रोन में भी ना कोई एक फिक्स नहीं है, बट ऑन एन एवरेज मैं बता रहा हूँ कि 2-3 साल ही नहीं, ड्रोन चलने के लिए 10 साल। जैसे मैंने एक ड्रोन यूज किया, मैं 8 साल से यूज कर रहा हूँ, बिकॉज आई एम प्रॉपरली मेंटेनिंग इट। हाँ, सॉफ्टवेयर जो है ना, और जो चिप है, जो फ्लाइट कंट्रोलर है, इसके अपग्रेडेड वर्जन आ रहे हैं। इन द सिमिलर वे आप iPhone 13 खरीदे, 14 खरीदे, 15 खरीदे, iPhone 8, तो iPhone 8 आज जो आप कर दोगे तो उसके फीचर में आज भी मिलेगा, उसका प्राइस कम है, उसके फीचर्स अलग है। iPhone 14 लोगे तो इट विल बी मोर बेटर, इसका लाइफ टाइम ज्यादा होगा। तो ओवरऑल फिजिकल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट अभी कोई क्वांटिटी नहीं है जहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट
कर सकते तो मैच कैसे हारेंगे, इसलिए वही मैच बात तो समझो। भाई कुश्ती नहीं लड़ना, जाके तो आगे आगे खड़े हो गए सब लोग, हटो यहाँ से।
Participants, please turn off your mic.
ऐसे
आकांक्षा जी शायद अलग पंचायत लगा रही है, ठीक है, कोई नहीं। आई थिंक हाँ, सिमिलर ऐप के, आई थिंक एम सात्विका, वी हैव सम ऐप। आई टोल्ड यू लाइक देयर इज अ कंपनी कॉल्ड EM3 Agri, दे हैव द ऐप फॉर ड्रोन्स के लिए। आप लेके आ रहा हूँ, टाइम लग रही है, मेरे साथ बहुत सारी कंपनियां काम करी, टेक्नोलॉजी टेक्स समटाइम्स। प्राइस ऑफ द ड्रोन सर, भाई ड्रोन ना 5 लाख से लेकर 25 लाख तक का ड्रोन आता है, तो जस्ट दैट्स व्हाई आई टोल्ड यू। फिर ड्रोन आ रहा है, उसकी बैटरी लगाओ, उसका ये सारा लगाओ, तो डिपेंड ऑन कि आप खुद से ड्रोन खरीद करके, जब तक इससे खुद बिजनेस नहीं, बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ड्रोन खरीदो। खुद के लिए 5-10 एकड़ भी लैंड है ना, मत कर दो। 1-2 एकड़ है तो खरीदो नहीं, आप वैसे भी नहीं खरीदोगे, क्या 10 लाख रुपए लगाना। And I think Sampurna also said a pathologist types in farmers misleading toxic chemical while spraying which leads on. या ये आपका क्वेश्चन बिल्कुल सही है कि टॉक्सिक मटेरियल्स वगैरह हैं, इसीलिए तो ड्रोन जो कम केमिकल को यूज करता है। देखो शुरुआती में जब ड्रोन एडॉप्शन हुआ ना, एग्रोकेमिकल कंपनीज वेयर नॉट मच हैप्पी, क्योंकि भाई उनकी सेल कम हो जाएगी, क्योंकि ये कम यूज करता है। आप सोचो, बार बार मैं वही एग्जांपल देता हूँ आपको, यहाँ हाथ में घाव है तो हाथ में दवा लगाओगे ना, शरीर में तो नहीं लगाओगे। 10 टाइम्स ज्यादा हम लोग टॉक्सिक मटेरियल इसलिए यूज कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें पता ही नहीं कि बीमारी कहाँ है। पूरे को जब तक हमारा संतुष्टि नहीं हो जाता है, पूरे को पूरे खेत में करते हैं। So drone will minimize this, but again, not Rome never didn't build in a single day. It will take time. We are gradually forwarding on that direction. अब quickly a question लीजिए because I need to go also.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very insightful lecture and a very detailed, followed by detailed explanation. It was really very grateful. We are really grateful to have you here today.
Thank you. Always.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So it's time to move with our next guest who has joined us, Dr. Padma Lakshmi. Dr. Padma Lakshmi is currently working as Assistant Professor of Agricultural Economics in Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore. She has completed her doctoral degree in economics from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore, with research assistantship from Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. Her field of specialization is resource and environmental economics and also concentrates on agricultural marketing. She has delivered several invited lectures and published many research articles, popular articles, book chapters, and books in field of agriculture and natural resource economics. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Padma Lakshmi. Ma'am.
Thank you for the warm invite. So I'm very happy to share again with this team for for delivering some of the lectures that I can do from my side. So I have seen for the past 2-3 times, I'm just seeing about this workshop, trade income workshop. So you concentrate more on agriculture 3.0 than 3.40. Now you have switched over to 5.0. So this mainly concentrates on, I think, IoT and remote sensing, and also artificial intelligence. And also the main research towards this is we are moving towards the multidisciplinary research over here. So based on this agriculture 5.0, so mostly we are concentrating towards the entrepreneurship development. So I wish to throw some insights regarding this entrepreneurship. So mainly on some of the business that can be taken over with low investment and with low, minimum budget. So I wish to go with, just a minute. So I'll just go with how to go with mushroom production and how about the market potential in India as well as in the globe. So basically, mushroom is a fungi. So it is producing a fleshy fruiting body. So especially it consists of a stack. So we will just see like an umbrella. So there will be a stack with an umbrella cap. So that to constitute a mushroom. So which is a fungi, which is an edible fungi. So the cap structure is nothing but your phylus, and the thread-like structure is nothing but your mycelia. So we quite often use this word mycelia in most of the fungi fruiting body. So this mycelia, so it absorbs the nutrient from the soil. It do not require any sunlight for their growth. So what are the main, why we want to concentrate more on mushroom cultivation? Because nowadays the global need for mushroom is increasing day by day, because it has several, the health benefits. The two mainly it concentrates for, it acts as an anti-cancer element, and it also provides good result for the diabetic patients, and it helps in curing several diseases as well. And it is also more profitable agribusiness venture, because we wish to concentrate more on entrepreneurship. Though we learn in several books and everything, so if we implement in an environment where it can be a more profitable way, so it's better to go with that type of business. So this mushroom cultivation, so this involves very less investment, and also it requires very less space for cultivation. So in all over the globe, so the top producers of these mushrooms are your US, China, Italy, and Netherlands. In India, the topmost producers are from Uttar Pradesh, Tripura, Kerala. Now it is extending towards most of the countries as well. So we have around 10,000 species of edible mushrooms that are grown around the world. So out of which 70 species are commercially cultivated in the Indian environment. So in that 70 species, about 10 to 15 species, they have they are adapted to any of the climatic conditions all over the country. So we will just go with some of the important mushrooms that have, the edible mushrooms that have a greater potential in the market. So the first one is your button mushroom. So white button mushroom we used to call that commonly. So it is Agaricus bisporus. So it is mostly cultivated in temperate regions, and that too in hilly areas. In most of the country, this button mushrooms has been cultivated. In most of our state, this button mushroom has been cultivated. So the most of the varieties, the strains that is cultivated are S11, TM79, and Horst H3. And the most edible temperature for cultivating this button mushroom is 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, and the relative humidity is 85 to 90%. So if at all we don't have that exact temperature exact temperature around us, so we can make that make the environment, where we cultivate the mushrooms, so that can be made into this 20 to 22 degrees Celsius, and we can go with cultivation of this button mushroom. So the total life cycle is around 90 days, so almost 3 months for its production, and it yields around 800 to 900 grams per bed. So from 4 kgs of compost which we prepare, so we will get for every, for one cycle, we will get around 800 to 900 grams of it. So the shelf life of storing is around about 2 days for normal temperature, and if it is refrigerated, it can be stored up to 3 days. The protein content in this mushroom, the button mushroom is very high, as high as some 23.9%. Then we have the next edible mushroom, that is your oyster mushroom. So we have which is nothing but a pleurotus species. So we have several pleurotus species that has been cultivated all over the country, even all around the world. So the suitable temperature is around 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, and its relative humidity should be 70 to 90%. So if at all you could not maintain that relative humidity, we can install sprinklers to maintain the room temperature as well as the relative humidity. So the life cycle is around 35 to 45 days. So it is less than 2 months. So you can harvest many times and the yield will be very higher. So it is around 635 grams of mushrooms can be harvested from when you use 500 grams of paddy straw. So mostly the medium that is used for cultivating oyster mushrooms will be your paddy straw. Then we will use wheat straws, and in some places we use sorghum straws as well. So when we use sorghum straws to reduce the pH, we use calcium carbonate while we are preparing the beds. The mushroom beds. Then the shelf life is around 1 day because the texture will be very light, so it gets the freshness will not be there. So the room temperature we can maintain it only for a day, but if it is refrigerated we can have it for 2 days. And the protein content is also higher, as around 23.6%. So these are the mushroom bags that can be prepared by ourselves, and the spawns can be added to the bed so that it gets the fruiting within 35 to 40 days, and it can be harvested periodically at like 2 days once or 3 days once, depending upon the growth of the mushrooms. Then we have milky mushroom. So this is Calocybe indica. So this is also known as summer mushroom. Why? Because it can be cultivated in the tropical conditions as well. So the temperature it requires is around 33 to 40 degrees Celsius, and its relative humidity should be around 85%. So the life cycle is around 45 to 50 days. So the yield will be 720 grams of mushrooms from 500 grams of paddy straw. And the shelf life is around 3 days at room temperature and 5 days when refrigerated, because the thickness of the mushrooms will be higher. So the shelf life will be very more. Then the protein content is around 32%, which is highest when compared to all other mushrooms. Then we have paddy straw mushroom, that is Wolverelia wolvaceae. So it is also called, it is known as hot mushroom, the same thing. So it can be cultivated, it can be produced or cultivated in the tropical climates as well. That is in the relatively high temperature, and it is also a fast growing one. It just grows within a month, like 30 to 35 days we can get the fruiting. The temperature that can be maintained is around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. So it is in most of the places during summer seasons also we can go with cultivating this mushroom. But the yield will be very less when compared to all other mushroom. Like say, for example, we will get only 500 grams of mushrooms when we, when we prepare a bag with 500 grams of paddy straw. So the shelf life will be 3 to 4 hours, because it will be very light, like a papery substance it will be. So the shelf life will be very lesser. But it can be used for preparing some of the value-added products, like say for example pickles and all those. So it gives a very good, the taste and flavor will be very good. The protein content is around 21.3%. Next, this is Shiketi mushroom. So that is Lentis idodes. So these types of mushrooms we commonly see and we say like something which is harming us. But this mushroom has very good medicinal properties. So it is mainly suitably cultivated in hilly and temperate regions. So it is an excellently edible and an important medicinal mushroom. So this helps in treating some of the diabetics, and it has more anti-cancer properties. So, in terms of production around the globe, so this Shiketi mushroom has been cultivated mostly. So it stands second in terms of its production. So the temperature to be maintained here is some 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, and the relative humidity is around 85%. So the total life cycle is around 3 months. And this is very rich in high quality protein and also vitamin B. It is also, it has high amount of calcium as well. So this is best suited for diabetics as well as the heart patients. So then we have this Jewish ear mushroom. So this we quite commonly found in the dead and decayed, trees and very old trees. So it will be like an ear-like thing. So that is why it is called as Jewish ear mushroom. So it is Auricularia auricula. So it is a mycelial growth. The temperature, it can withstand will be around 24 to 30 degrees Celsius with a relative humidity of 90 to 95%. So wherever, so this type will be grown mostly in the winter seasons. Winter and spring seasons, we can find these growth on the dead elder trees as well as the fallen branches. So the carbon dioxide requirement for this, for this to grow, for the Jewish ear mushrooms to grow should be more than 5,000 to 20,000 ppm. So no sunlight or the lights are required for its growth because it grows in a very humid area as well as in the dark place. So what are the requirements that if I want to go for a mushroom production, be it a small scale or a large scale production? So the first and foremost thing is we need a spawn. So spawn is nothing but a seeding material, like how we go for planting some plants, be it either the seeds or seedlings or any cutting. So similarly for mushroom production, we need spawn. So it works as a seed material in the cultivation of mushrooms. Then we can use several bedding material, that is a medium for cultivation. We can use paddy straw, we can use sawdust of rubber, we can use wheat straws, then sorghum straws. So these can be used as a medium for the cultivation. Then polythene bag, so for packaging of material for medium. Then we need polythene sheet for preparation of paddy straw medium, because we have to, steam it before preparing this, before we start up the mushroom production. Then we use potassium permanganate or formalin for sterilization purpose, that too for sterilizing the rooms where the mushroom is going to be cultivated. So because while cultivating mushroom, so that room has to be free of, it should be properly sterilized before we start up the mushroom production, else it gets contaminated. So what is the method for this mushroom production? So first we just collect the paddy straws or wheat straw or whatever the bedding material you have. So we just collect it and we have to cut that straw into small pieces. So after cutting them into fine, small pieces, in the sense at least the finger length pieces, then we have to soak those cuttings, the straw cuttings in water for almost we have to soak it for a whole day, whole night. Then we have to take it and shade dry, we have to shade dry that paddy straw. So when we are, after it has been dried, so after it has been soaked and removed, so it has to be steamed. So we use autoclave. So if we are going with any commercial production, we use autoclaves for for steaming that paddy straw. So why we are steaming it? Because so it may contaminate, it may have some contamination. So to reduce that contamination or to make it nil from contamination or any external damages, so we use, we will be sterilizing it with the autoclave. So if we don't have autoclave, so we can go with some big drums and we can just boil or we can just steam the paddy straw. Then after it has been steamed, so we just want to dry it in the shady area. So the drying should be in such a case, like it should not be over dried or it should not be too wetty. So if we just take some sample of that paddy straw and if we just squeeze it, so the water should not fall from that. So, but it should be somewhat wetty. So that is the exact condition which we can use for preparation of the medium, that is preparation of beds. So now we will take out the polythene bag. So we will be, we have to put holes around some, say for example, 6 to 12 holes can be made in the polythene bag. then we have to go with the bedding material. So first we have to take some quantity of this paddy straw, and we have to just fill the bag. A small portion has to be filled. Then we have to take up the spawn, and we have to just spray few spawns on the top of the paddy straw, I mean the sterilized paddy straw. Then again we have to add some more bedding material, and again some spawns has to be added. So similarly we can just make into, I mean we can just sandwich the paddy straw as well as the spawn simultaneously, and we can just with a small PVC pipe we can just insert it, and we can tie it with the rubber band at the top of the bag, so that there will be little aeration and there will not be over aeration. So it should be maintained in that way. So after that it has to be kept. So all these process has to be done in a very, a sterilized room or sterilized environment. So if you don't want to go with any of the chemical treatment, it's better we can go with some of the we can go with fumigation with some of the neem leaves. So before bedding is being prepared. So if you have more spaces, so you can use racks around the rooms, and you can just place all those all those beds in the racks. So if you have the space constraint, so you can just hang the bedding material from the ceiling. So like we can just have a jute or any thread, any strong thread, and we can just tie the bags. So say for example, we can tie some 3 or 4 bags from the top to the bottom, so that there will be a space between space of around 60 to 70 centimeters between the bags. So after that, it will be kept. It is now ready for the growth. So periodically we have to check to the temperature, and also we have to go with checking up the relative humidity, and we have to make sure that it is properly maintained. And every time we have to go and observe whether there is any contamination in that bags or not. So if you find there is a contamination, then the whole bag has to be discarded. So if we didn't discard in one bag, so all the bags will get contaminated. So when we are entering into that room, so we have to be properly sterilized. So we have to wash our hands properly. We have to tie our hairs, and we should wear a very clean cloth before entering into that room. So that type of preparation of the mushroom, preparation of bedding material and periodical monitoring will help in getting more yield. So depending upon the different types of mushrooms, so we will go with different methods of the preparation of the bedding material. So after some 30 or 35 days, depending upon the variety of, mushrooms which we are cultivating, the harvesting will be done. So we can go with 2 to 3 harvest. So till that the spawns will be, the spawn production will be there. So how about the cost and returns? So the total cost that may require to grow around 10 quintals of mushrooms will be around 50,000 to 60,000 rupees, other than the area required. Okay, so if you have a neat area, say if you have say around some 100 square feet, so you can go with purchasing all the spawns and your fumigators, then small pipes, your paddy straw, and the polythene cover and the mulching sheets. So those, it may cost around some 50,000 to 60,000 rupees. So mostly depending upon the varieties of the mushroom, say for example, if you are going with oyster mushroom, the price will vary. So if you go with button mushrooms, the price may vary. So depending upon the market price, it may be around 120 per kg to rupees 160 per kg. If you go with the shiketi mushroom, so it will cost even around 1,000 rupees. So it depends, depending upon the mushroom variety which you are cultivating. So on an average, the BC ratio, which is nothing but the benefit cost ratio, which we have found out is around 1.9. So if you invest 1 rupee for cultivating mushroom, so you will get a return of around 1.90 rupees to around 3.50 rupees as well. So this is a market potential in mushroom cultivation. So now over a period of time, the market potential for the for the mushroom is increasing over a period of time, because the demand is increasing in mostly in the European countries as well as in the North American countries. So, but the production is still in a very, in a dynamic state. So it has to be increased. So like we people, we can, when we are interested to go with some of the small scale industries or something else, so we can go with the mushroom cultivations. Even government is providing trainings, and several workshops are being covered, are being conducted, and even several schemes are also running for enhancing the mushroom production. So who is our marketers? I mean, who is our target beneficiaries to whom we can able to, because nowadays market plays a major role. Whatever we produce, so we should have a market. So the first is, obviously we can go with, if you are going with any button mushrooms. So restaurants are ready to purchase the button mushrooms. So because they have mature needs. So we have many food items that is being produced with mushrooms. Then the farmers markets, which is nothing but open market. So the general public also is interested in getting the mushrooms, then selling it in online. So we have several platforms. So we can create either a web page or a website, or we can have social media marketing in selling up the mushrooms. That is nothing but your online marketing. Then we can dry the mushrooms. So if it could not be stored for a longer period of time, so it is not possible, we could not waste it. So if that is the case, we can just dry the mushrooms in shady area, and we can pack it, and we can make it in the future days, like for preparation of any powders or any chips like thing, or for any garnishing. So for those things, the dried mushrooms can be produced, it can be used. Then the packaged products. So if you are going to export it, so based on the type of packages which we use, it will be acceptable, or the shelf life may be increased in the other countries, and it can be accepted by the other country people. So what is the market strategies we can follow? So first one is creating a unique website with user-friendly interface, that is e-marketing. Then participating in melas, food festivals, and trade fairs for the networking purposes. Then use of multimedia platforms. Then placing adverts in local newspapers, foods and magazines. Then focusing on different kinds of fresh mushrooms, such as button mushroom, shiketi, oyster, enoki, all these, because they have a wide demand in the market. Then we can go with processed mushrooms like frozen or dried or canned. So this is what I would like to discuss for this mushroom production and its market potential. So if you have any doubts, it is open for discussion.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for this informative lecture. Participants, the session is open for discussion. Kindly post your question.
So basically, if someone is interested with even a zero knowledge about mushroom cultivation, they can go for some trainings or basic workshops, so that they will get a good exposure, or sometimes even the internship people, so they are also ready to provide the spawns for the cultivation. So is there any government scheme for subsidy, ma'am? Actually, we have many schemes for the MSME schemes we have. So I think so there is no specific scheme or subsidy for mushroom cultivation, but as you are going to become an entrepreneur, it comes under your agri entrepreneurship. So if you are interested in that, so the government is providing you the subsidy for starting up the enterprises, or we have MSME schemes, so wherein the interest rate as well as the initial principal amount will be provided to you. So after some few phases, like 3 years or few years, you can repay the money. So in NABARD, several schemes are operating for these things. So madam, please elaborate about the business models of this mushroom cultivation. So business model, we have everything. So mostly the business models will be B2B and B2C. So you have, since the shelf life is very less for the fresh produce, so the business models will be very little. So because you have to dispose the produce as earlier as possible after you have harvested the produce. So if you want to have a B2B things, so it's better you can go with the dry, processing or value addition. So now we have many value additions, like we are going with the powder preparation, or we are going with the dried items, pickles. So all these have a greater potential, greater market. So you can go with those types of value-added products so that you can have a very good business for this mushrooms. So any value-added food processing products. Yeah, we have mushroom pickles. We have, then we have mushroom chips. Then we have dried mushroom powder. So, and as I was explaining previously, so we have shikating mushroom. So that mushroom, if we are selling, I mean, if we have a business relation to the pharmaceutical industries, so there is a wide demand for it. So we have to just search for what type of, what type of pharmaceutical industries that is available nearby, and we have to know their demand so that you can produce and sell it to them. And now these types of mushrooms, they have a wider demand because of their health benefits. So is there any license required for cultivation? No, we need no need of cultivating. I mean, we no need of any license for cultivating mushroom. The only thing is we have to be very cautious in cultivating the mushroom because it is highly sensitive, because already it is a fungal. So with the original, with the edible mushrooms, sometimes the non-edible mushrooms also will be cultivating. So we have to be very, we have to periodically monitor it, and we have to make sure that the mushroom spawn which we are cultivating is giving the same output over there. So we have to be very careful when we are producing the mushroom. So the only thing is that it has to be, we have to be sterilized, and the area has to be very much, it should be in a more comfort zone for cultivating the mushrooms. So long range transport to America, is it possible, ma'am? It depends upon the packaging. So sometimes even we are nowadays even transporting the flowers also. So the same thing. So based on the consistency of that, what type of mushrooms you are growing. So it is quite difficult for you to go with the oyster mushrooms for for distant transportation or for exports. But whereas if you go with button mushrooms or something else, based on the packages with which the the content has been packed, so that helps us in moving that. That helps us in transporting the produce. Ma'am, in VIT mediational mushroom training program in upcoming days. Yeah, we are providing the training, these types of training quite often. So we will be intimating that in the future days. Right now we are in the production of mushroom spawns. So we are providing a training periodically through some NGOs. So in the future days, it is planned that we are going to organize a separate training program over here. So it is under progress. So can we start a business of mushroom production? So you can start, but it needs some scientific and you should have a separate laboratory for starting up this spawn production. So we can just start with a little amount of spawn, but the multiplication process it requires some basic knowledge about the cultivation process. So if you attend some trainings or workshops related to this mushroom, so they may provide you some idea. So, ma'am, can you say for 5 cents area cost of cultivation approximately? So we have to go with the mushroom shed. So it depends upon like how you are interested in growing. So whether you are going to have a temporary structure or whether you are going to have a permanent structure, because when you are installing a mushroom unit, so you should have all the necessary features like drainage and the proper ceilings has to be provided, and proper temperature controlling devices has to be installed. And we have some sprinklers that will provide you, that will help you in maintaining the relative humidity. So for starting up a mushroom unit in, say, for example, in 5 cents of area, it may require around some 60,000 to 1 lakh, depending upon the cost of materials which you are using. So if you once install permanently, so you can start reaping benefits over a period of time. So it's up to us, like whether we are going for temporary cultivation or whether we are going to do it in a more commercial way. But it has a greater demand in the market. Mushroom has a greater demand in the market. So how to control maggots in bedding material of oyster mushroom? So megads will be there in every bedding material. So that is why we are going with steaming the bedding material. So we are just soaking it for overnight, and we are taking it out and we are steaming it in an autoclave. So autoclave is a particular equipment. So we have, so wherein the sterilizations will be made. So that type of materials can be used. I mean, that type of autoclaves can be used if you are going for a very big, I mean, a very cultivation. But if at all you have very lesser space, and if you want to just go for some domestic, I mean, like very small scale units, you can just do it in just boil the water in, I mean, 1/3 of a very big vessel, and add the bedding material and make it steamed. Then you can use it. You can just shade dry it, and you can use it as a bedding material. So that helps in controlling the maggots. But mostly try to go with organic mushroom cultivation, like without using any chemicals. So else you can go with some fumigating with some potassium permanganate or formalin. So those things can also be used. But those things can be used only for the rooms, not for the bedding material. So proper I mean, sterilization of your bedding material helps in controlling the maggots and other fungal as well. Yeah, each and every, so if you are interested in going with some, say for example, if you're interested in the milky mushroom, so the spawn will be different. So if you are going with some oyster mushroom, the spawns are different. That is why we have varieties of strains of spawns, which will be used based on the requirement of that particular mushroom. Yeah, I'll be providing my mail ID. So if we have any future trainings or anything else, it will be intimated in websites sometimes. So what are you recommending for scale of mushroom cultivation with the latest technologies like AI and IoT? So AI and IoT, so mostly these will be used for detecting the presence of any other foreign matter. So what, like how I was saying, there may be some other fungal growth also when there may be some other fungal growth other than the normal mushrooms. So if that is the case, we can use this AI, that is artificial intelligence or IoT, for detecting what type of mushrooms or whether the mushroom is edible for consumption, or whether it is not edible. So whether the spawn bags are contaminated or not. So those types of things can be analyzed or assessed using these digital technologies. Why can't we go more? Actually, I think I'm not sure about this. Ma'am, why can't we grow Morchella mushrooms in laboratories? Sorry, I'm not sure about this. You just have my mail ID. So in future, I will just discuss with my research team and I will let you know. So no, can we harvest mushroom with bare hands? We have to use sterilized knife when you are harvesting the mushrooms, and you just wear gloves when you are entering. You wear a gloves and wear some sterilized socks or anything else, and also have a cap in your hand, a cap on your head, so that the easily what to say, if it is going to be contaminated, if it is an easy contaminable place, so that can be avoided. So have a sterilized knife when you are harvesting the mushroom, and make sure that you are collecting those mushrooms in a in a gloved hand, and see to it again and again the mushrooms grows from the same places. So if you are harvesting with bare hand, maybe it gets contaminated and you may not get the next harvest, or sometimes the whole bags also will get contaminated. Can we grow Lentitis irodis? Actually, it depends upon the climate. So Lentitis irodis, it is not possible for us to cultivate because it grows in a temperate region. So it is not possible for us to go with that type of species there. Can we use the next bed for same bed for next production? No, we could not use the same bed for next production. So we have to prepare again the new bedding material for the next production process. So this is how we have to produce it. Guji mouth, the Guji mushrooms are mostly cultivated in, the hilly regions. Mostly we will find that in Himalayan region. So I don't think it's not possible for us to cultivate. So mostly in the mountainous region, that is in the guts, those types of mushrooms will be cultivated. Mushroom pickle and it's better. Mushroom pickle and chips are export-oriented products, ma'am. Where can we get project profile for the above projects? So you can go with some of the food processing institutes that is available nearby. You can go there. Say, for example, if you are from Tamil Nadu, you can go with NIFTEM in Tanjavur. So if you are from Karnataka, you can go to the food processing industry CFTRA in Mysore. So those places, they will give you a clear idea about the project profiles.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There is another question that we're getting, ma'am.
Can we use the bits? Sorry, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, actually, this Guji mushroom, that's what I'm saying, that we it will be in a Himalayan, it will be in a high altitude regions. So the laboratory conditions may not be ample for the mushrooms to be grown over there. So can we use the used beds for any other purpose? So actually the nutrient content will not be there that much after the mushroom has been cultivated. So you can just use as a compost for your agricultural fields, like for your home gardens and all those places. The spawn cost for button mushroom. So it depends upon the places from where you are purchasing, because if it is from any institutes, the price may vary. So if it is from outside, if it is from private agencies, the cost may vary. So it depends upon the places from where we are getting. So the spawn cost may be around some 80 rupee to one bag of, say, for example, 100 grams of spawn. It may cost around 100 to 200 rupees, depending upon the places from where you are getting it. Actually, yes, there are small processing units are available in mushrooms. The demand is, we could not exactly say in particular about the demand for mushrooms in Chennai. So quite often we found that in Tamil Nadu, mainly in the urban areas, the need for mushroom is very high. Like in Chennai, we have several small processing units which produce this cookies, mushroom cookies or mushroom pickles, then mushroom chips, mushroom powders, because they are using that as they are selling it as a seasoning agent for some of the spicy foods. So it has demand everywhere. But if you are willing to do some processing activities, you can just do it and supply it for the urban areas. So can we grow mushrooms in hydroponics? So hydroponics is completely different. Hydroponics is not related with mushrooms. So mushrooms is just, it needs a a bedding material. It doesn't require soil already. So it is not like going with hydroponics, it is not possible. So that's what I have given in the slides, sir. So the process of paddy straw mushroom. like how to sterilize it and how to prepare a bedding material. So I think you got that. If not, I will share you the PowerPoint. So I hope I have, other than paddy straw, can we use any other medium for growing of mushroom? Yeah, we can use wheat straw. We can use the straw, the sawdust, which we get when we, in some of the, the wooden implements making areas. And we can go with the mushroom, sorghum straws as well. So sorghum straws, if we are using, so we have to use calcium carbonate so that we can reduce the pH of that. Okay, fine, sir. So I have attached the meeting. I have attached the PowerPoint. I hope the PowerPoint works well.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your lecture. Our next guest has joined us. So for our next session, it is my privilege to introduce Professor Dr. Chandrakant Sharma, Dean, Faculty of Science, Kalinga University, Chhattisgarh. Sir is a distinguished academician and a prominent figure in the field of biotechnology. With an illustrious career spanning over 16 years, Dr. Sharma has made a significant contribution to both teaching and research in the realm of science. Dr. Sharma holds a PhD in biotechnology. Throughout his career, Dr. Sharma has harnessed his expertise to educate students at various levels, including MTech, BTech, and BSc. Not only a dedicated educator, but Sir has also shouldered numerous administrative responsibilities. As the Dean of Faculty of Science at Kalinga University, Raipur, he oversees academic, research, and administrative matters with utmost dedication. His leadership is evident as he chairs various committees, including Departmental Academic Committee, Institutional Board of Studies, Institutional Research and Developmental Committee. In addition to his administrative roles, Sir's contributions are truly remarkable. His work in bioprocess engineering, nanotechnology, molecular biology, and toxicology has garnered recognition both nationally and internationally. With over 72 research papers published in accepted, his scholarly impact is undeniable. Sir is not just confined with classrooms or with laboratory walls. He has been a sought-after keynote speaker, a distinguished expert delivering invited lectures, and a session chair for academic conferences. His knowledge extends globally with the international engagements that include delivering plenary lectures and sharing his insights on the global stage. To highlight just a few of his many accolades, Dr. Sharma has received the Best Teacher Award from Hindustan Agricultural Research Society, the Best Faculty Award from Global Education and Corporate Leadership Award, and an international travel support from the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. As a mentor, researcher, educator, and leader, Dr. Professor Chandrakant Sharma's contribution continue to inspire and shape the world of science and academia. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Chandrakant Sharma, sir. After you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gaur, for the nice introduction. So, good evening, everybody. I think you are listening from the evening different talks. So today I'm going to discuss something. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Actually, someone is writing regarding to increase the volume. So is that okay?
Yes, sir, you're completely audible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So today I'm going to discuss something which is related with the nanotechnology and
Earlier, I was the principal and dean. Recently, I have joined the ITM University Gwalior, being the head of the horticulture. So, just a minor correction in that. So, if I consider the nanotechnology, it is the kind of the field where we can develop something in the form of the nano scale, basically. How it is related with the agriculture sciences, we know very well that the nano urea, I'm going to present something, I'm going to share something. Nano urea, which is developed by the IFCO, and you can imagine the condition when the farmers are using the nano urea, they can use the less quantity and that can be spread and on the broad range of the crop. Basically, they can incorporate something because gradually, everything will come in the form of the nano formulations. And we are very much aware it is very much useful in the case of the medicine science, medical sciences. At the same time, it is very much useful in the case of the agriculture sciences. So I'm going to share something with you all. Before that, I would like to show you something which is related with the cells, which we, generally teach the students or show the students regarding the live cell imaging. If the to show you, then I will discuss about my presentation. Okay.
Sir is facing a technical issue. He will rejoin soon. participant. Sir is facing a technical glitch. We have been assured he is joining soon.
Yeah, now it is. Sorry, due to some technical glitch, I was out from the meeting basically. So I'm going to share something with you all. I think कुछ weather का issue.
Sir, kindly unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. So sorry, it has happened due to some technical glitch, and the weather is not clear here. So it may be due to that. So how the students can do the green synthesis of the metal nanoparticles in their applications basically. If you see nowadays, we can synthesize the different kind of the metal nanoparticles, and these can be utilized for the different purposes. As I was discussing how these nanoparticles have been developed by the different agencies, by the different companies for supplementing the nutrients into the crop. So that is very much a good field in which the students can make the career. And this is how the farmers can also be benefited by this way. So something I'm going to discuss on that aspect. So whenever we think about the sciences, there are different terms comes into the mind, like as the biology, synthetic, engineering, cell biology, DNA, etc., etc. So whenever we are thinking about that regarding the synthesis of the metal nanoparticles or the nanoparticles which are very much useful, so it is the domain which comes with the biotechnology also, and there are some advancements which we can quote in the field of the biotechnology. And later on, we will discuss how the nanobiotechnology is integrated in the field with this also. So like as a microbial biotechnology, we consider the agricultural biotechnology, we consider the animal biotechnology, we consider the forensic biotechnology, environmental biotechnology, aquatic biotechnology, and the medical biotechnology. So basically, whenever we are considering the organisms for our benefits, we consider it the advanced science, and in the advanced sciences, we consider the different applications in that basically. So in the microbial biotechnology, we take some kind of the microbial population, the microbial consortium for the production of something at the large scale. It may be the antibiotic, it may be the growth hormones, it may be the enzymes which are helpful in the case of this, the agriculture sciences or in the different industries. Whenever we think about the synthesis of the nanoparticles, everyone is aware now we are moving towards the nature, or we can say the green synthesis, or the green word is suffixed with the different kind of the processes, we can say that. So here we are going to discuss something about the biogenic synthesis of the nanoparticles, how the biological organisms can be utilized for the synthesis of the nanoparticles. If we classify the organism can be classified on the different scale, like as the macro, micro, and the nano scale. So something which is less than 100 nanometer, we consider the nanoparticles basically. If we consider the development in the case of the sciences with respect to the social impact as well as with respect to the time, it was started from the Middle Age, and then the steam engines came into the existence, then the railway, automobiles, computers, and now we can say the nanotechnology, and which is applicable in the different fields of the sciences. This is the historical background. Generally, if we consider it, the nanoparticles developed, very early in the case of the 1950, and these were called like as the small particles, colloids, or the fine particles. And in the olden days after that, the people used to prepare the medicine by crushing that. You are very much aware about the bhasmas, which we consider in the Ayurvedic medicines basically. And whenever we are doing that, we want to try to pass these medicines through the cellular barriers basically. So the smaller the size, then they can pass the barrier easily basically. This is the kind of the evolution timeline which is related with the nanoparticles. So Michel Faraday and shows the optical properties of the colloidal gold basically. Then the different scientists came into the existence, and different techniques were also developed, like as the STM, AFM, atomic force microscopy basically. And this is how the nanomaterials were developed from the 1985. The Robert Curl, who has discovered this carbon-60, and the famous name Sumo Ijima, who has described the carbon nanotubes, like as the single-walled carbon nanotubes, double-walled carbon nanotubes. So these are generally discussed and came into the existence by such kind of development. And we saw in we say the CNTs, the different CNTs, we can say that. So the nanotechnology, we can say the synthesis of the functional materials, devices, and the systems through the control of nanoscale materials. So since we are synthesizing the material at the nanoscale, for what? For exploiting the novel properties and phenomena at all length scales, basically. So if we consider what is special about the nanoscale, basically, if we consider it, the bulk materials have the constant properties regardless of the size. So whatever the size is there, but they have the constant properties. In the case of the nanostructures materials, these are depending on the structures basically, and it is used for the very high surface area. Nanomaterials is a bridge between the atomic or the molecular structures. So we can study in a clear-cut manner how this kind of the bonding is present basically. Suspension of the nanoparticles are possible. For example, the ferrofluids Generally, in the engineering sciences, those who are having that kind of background, they are aware about the heat exchangers, how the heat can be exchanged from one material to the another material by using the heat exchangers. So it is having the high applications in that. So it is a kind of the comparison regarding the normal scale and the nano scale. So we can see the different parameters on which the nanoscale work basically. So it is transparent, catalyst, combustible, liquid, conductor, and the hard like as the copper in the case of the less than 50 nanometer. Regarding the chemical reactivity of the nanoscale materials greatly differ with the macroscopic form. So the quantum size, femto range, we can say that quantum size and the femto range is basically effect results in the unique mechanical, electronical, and the electronic and the optical properties of the nanoscale material basically. This is a kind of the example where we can consider how the nanomaterials appear at their size basically. If in the case of the copper, in the case of the gold, it shows a deep red color to black in the solution if it is in the nanoscale. In the case of the silver, if it is the size is more than 50 nanometer, it looks like as white. And in the case of the 20 to 40 nanometer, it looks brown, and less than 50 nanometer, it looks like as a black. So these are the scientists who were involved in the synthesis and the production of this carbon nanotube, basically the CNTs. These are the types of the carbon nanotubes, like the single wall nanotubes, multi-wall nanotubes, double wall nanotubes. If we classify on the large scale the types of the material synthesis, we can say the materials can be synthesized by the different way, like as the natural way or the synthetic way. In the case of the natural, there are another classification, inorganic and organic. So say suppose we are taking the material like as the clay, bone, tape, we consider the synthesis of that. And the organic material like as the wood, leather, sugar, proteins, etc. And in the case of the synthetic, these are bulk material, micro scale material, nano scale material. And in the case of the bulk, we classify another two segments like as the amorphous or the crystalline, and the further inorganic and organic. In the case of the material synthesis, broadly as per the nature of the synthesis of the material, like as the physical, chemical, biological, and hybrid method. Here we are going to discuss about the biological method. In the biological method, we consider like the DNA, enzymes, microorganisms, and the plant. So basically, we are following the green route base for the synthesis of the nanoparticles. There are two approaches which are very much famous in the case of the nanoparticle synthesis, like the top-down and bottom-up. So the top-down approach says the bulk material will be broken down into the particles at the nanoscale with the various lithography techniques, like the grinding, milling. This fabrication technology involves the removal of certain parts from a bulk material substance. And then it leads to the milling technique, basically. So this is the graphical representation of something which is in the form of the bulk, and that will be broken down into the fine particles to the different scale. Here, in our case, it is nanoscale. In the case of the bottom up, we aggregate the atoms into the nuclei, then the nanoparticles, and so this is known as the bottom up approach. The bio-nanotechnology, which is the field where the students can show their talent. In this case, the biological material we consider for the synthesis of the nanoparticles. So the bio-nanotechnology merged up as an integration between the biotechnology and the nanotechnology for the development of the environment-friendly and biosynthetic technology for the preparation of the nanomaterials. So whenever we are considering it for the preparation of the nanomaterials, we use for these purposes, like as the biological materials, as well as the other materials. Someone is raising their hand. Mukesh? Yes, please. The importance of nanomaterials for science and technology is highly increased in the past years, basically. So we have considered the different nanomaterials for the different purposes. As I've quoted recently, IFCO has developed the nano urea, and which is highly useful for the farmers. They are developing the nano NPK also. So in due course of time, we will see you can be integrated for the synthesis of such materials at a nano scale. For this purpose, we use the microorganisms like the fungi, yeast, bacteria, plant extracts or enzymes, as well as sometimes we use the DNA templates and the membranes, as well as some kind of viruses. So this is the kind of the steps which we follow. Whenever we are going to synthesize these nanomaterials, we need a kind of a reducing agent, and the solvent, the suitable solvent, and the environment, basically when we are going to develop something at a large scale. Here I am taking the example of the silver nitrate biosynthesis, silver nitrate nanoparticles, this through the green synthesis or the biological way. So these are the steps which are involved in this case: the solvent medium selection, then the environmentally benign reducing agent selection, then the non-toxic substances for the silver nanoparticle stability. Because what happens whenever we are going to synthesize the nanoparticle, the problem is the aggregation of the nanoparticles. So for reducing the aggregation, for mitigating the aggregation, we use the stability agent for that purpose, basically. So this is the mechanism of the plant-mediated nanoparticle synthesis. The metals such as sulfates, nitrates, and oxides possess the high reduction potentials and have the tendency of electron donation. And therefore, they increase the density of the electrons on their conjugative source. So they donate, and that will be taken by this. Thus, the material in their ionic form rapidly get detached from their anionic parts and undergo for the reduction process. So this is the process of the reduction of that. Then we take the plant extract, which are rich in the case of the diverse biochemical reducing agents, like as the alkaloids, polyphenols, terpenoids, flavonoids, which they act as the chelator. So readily absorb electrons from the cationic metal species and reduce them for the 2 zero-valent state. So that will be reduced. And then this condition leads to the formation and growth of the nanoparticles as well as stabilization of nanoparticles. So we can say it is also known as the green nanotechnology. These are the steps which we consider for the synthesis and the characterization. So first we synthesize, then preparation of the plant extract, then we fabricate, then we characterize. Characterization is needed whether the nanoparticles have been synthesized or not. So there are some ways, like as the color change, UV visible spectroscopy, zeta potential analysis, FTIR, scanning electron microscopy, as well as further we can check for the different kind of the activities. For example, the antimicrobial activity, because it is having that kind of the potential also. So we used this the betel leaf, which contains betel leaf, the pan ka patta. You are very much aware about that. The betel leaf contains the phenols, alkaloids, carbohydrates, amino acids, tannins, and the steroid compounds. Eugenol and cavicol are basically present as the antifungal and antiseptic agents in the betel leaf. It possesses basically antimicrobial property, anti-ringworm properties, antifungal, anti-helminthic properties. So it is having highly medicinal properties, being a betel leaf, and this was considered. So this is the kind of the experimental design which we have considered for the synthesis of these silver nanoparticles. And if we can see the results, basically it shows the nanoparticle synthesis at the different time intervals. This is the characteristic P, which we consider basically for the identification of these nanoparticles. So this is the classical peak at the 400 nanometers generally we consider for. And this is the characterization at the zeta scale, zeta potential basically. And it shows very good potential with that. And we have done the FTIR analysis for identifying the the functional groups which are present in that. So these kind of the functional groups were present in that, and it was established by this FTIO. And further, we have done this the same also to see whether the size of the nanoparticles were okay or not. And further, we have done regarding the antimicrobial study, how it can be utilized against the microbes, basically. So it is having dual purposes. Sometimes we use for the medicinal purposes as also, and sometimes we use for the different kind of the applications in the agriculture sciences, if we can develop in the cheap way. So these were the against, the zone of inhibition was measured for against the different 4 organisms, microorganisms, we can say that. So it was quite not responding with this Bacillus subtilis and the Escherichia coli. It has had responded with the Bacillus cereus and the Staphylococcus aureus. So if I say it is highly useful in the case of the different sciences, we can say the advanced sciences, where we can synthesize the nanoparticles at the large scale, and further we can disseminate that to the end users. It may be the farmers, it may be other entrepreneurs through which we can do such kind of the work also. So it is highly environment friendly, which is supported by the different agencies for that purposes. This are some kind of the references which we have considered for that. Thank you very much. If you have any queries, we can discuss.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful lecture. The session is open for discussion. Participants, you can post your question.
Kind of interruption which was happened during the initiation.
Oh, we can understand, sir. That was a technical glitch. Participants are encouraged to ask their questions directly or in the chat box.
Any query from the participants? I hope this is the diverse group as per our information.
Yes, sir, it's a very heterogeneous group.
Yeah.
So it seems we don't have any query at the moment. If we receive any query pertaining to lecture, we will be emailing you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
So participants, with this, we would like to end this session. See you all at the same time tomorrow. Thank you.